Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Xbox Phil Spencer delivers cutting correct remarks about the AAA games in leaked email. We're going to take an article from Forbes, also from Kotaku. It says leaked Xbox email perfectly explains why game publishers are eating themselves alive. We're going to be talking about another Forbes. Two articles from Paul Tassi today. Starfield may be releasing more live content outside of its expansion. And then we're going to jump into Sea of Thieves Season 10, adding a Safer Seas, which is like a tutorial / PvE servers-esque, and we're going to talk about that as well. If you like what we do here, we just read the news and we have a conversation and talk with you guys in the live chat. If you like it, please make sure you hit that like button down below. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a subscriber as little as free as just hitting that little button, subscriber. Or if you'd like to become a member as little as $5, you can help us out here, and that does help the channel. But hit that like button. That like button really helps us out. What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Kylo, Jesse Mac, Travis, Eddie? What's going on, Big Mo, Silent Warrior? Good morning, good morning. So the first story we're going to talk about is Xbox Phil Spencer delivers a cutting correct remarks about AAA games in leaked email. Okay, this comes from Paul Tassi. He says, while the highest profile news item from the big inflicted Microsoft document leak were the new Xbox Series X refresh and Bethesda's entire release lineup next a few years, I was struck by the specific email by Phil Spencer pointed out by Kotaku's Oisin Gach, which is this article right here. So we're going to read this actually first, okay? It says, leaked Xbox boss email perfectly explains why game publisher are eating themselves alive. Head of Xbox Phil Spencer pitches Game Pass as an alternative to relying on big budget blockbusters, okay? You probably saw a ton of headlines about Xbox leaks this week. New hardware, upcoming games, Game Pass costs, acquisition strategies, and a trove of undirected documents accidentally uploaded to the federal courts case serve as gave the world an unprecedented look into the secrets, okay, of the gaming wing of a $2 trillion tech giant. But if you check out just one leak from a historic week, Xbox, it should be the Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer's analyst of what currently is plaguing AAA video game publishers. Okay, his analyst was in the email exchange from March of 2020 in the midst of the Xbox team planning ahead of the feedback meeting that Grand Theft Auto publisher Take-Two in terms of subscriptions and the impact of a larger publisher. I realized that I haven't really done a good job sharing our views on the distribution of AAA publishing potential. See how the role in the industry will likely change with the growth of a subscription platform like an Xbox Game Pass, Spencer wrote. And the memo was directed to Microsoft CEO and CFO Amy Hood, and Executive Business VIP Peggy Johnson, and the head of the marketing Chris. Okay, so he says the head of Xbox, who first joined Microsoft as an intern back in 1988 and has been working with the gaming side of the business for over 20 years now, proceeds to dialogue the current state of big publishers as they face wave after wave of marketing disruption. It was a commentary of the fears driving of every shrinking class of mega gaming companies and the clinging harder and harder to the few big budget franchises they have and still pay out. Spencer lays out how publishers once existed to leverage scale negotiations with retailers for space. Then everything changed, the creation of digital storefronts like Steam, Xbox Store, PlayStation Store, and eventually democratized, I don't know how you say that word, access for creators breaking physical retails, lock on games to people. If you could break that word down for me, democratized, is that how you say that? Sorry about that. Distribution, he writes, publishers were slow to react to this disruption. The AAA publisher did not find its way leveraged to moat the physical retail created by the digital realm in the way that they had to continue the dominance of the game's marketplace. Now, companies like Activision, Electronic Arts, Ubisoft eventually made their own middleman clients and tried to get around platform fees, and a few later followed up with their own subscription services. None of them were built early enough to offer compelling enough alternatives to get big. Now, players complained about the UI and bad deals, franchises like Call of Duty and Madden, and had once abandoned Steam's return. Game Pass got big, while EA Play, Ubisoft Plus stayed small. The only competitive advantages publishers have left to being able to pour more money than anyone else into annualized blockbusters. Now, Spencer writes, Over the past 5 to 7 years, the AAA publishers have tried to production scale as a new moat. Very few companies can afford to spend $200 million and Activision or Take-Two spend to put a little Call of Duty or Red Dead Redemption on the shelf. These AAA games have mostly used the production scale to keep the top franchises and top-selling games each year, and the issue these publishers have run into in the same production scale / cost approach hurts the ability to create new IP. Now, the hurdle rate on the new IP and the high production levels have led to risk aversion by big publishers and the new IP. You've seen a rise of AAA publishers using rented IPs to try to offset the risk of Star Wars with EA, Spider-Man with Sony, and Avatar with Ubisoft, etc. These same dynamic and obviously played out Hollywood as well, with Netflix creating more new IPs than any of the movie studios. Specifically, the AAA game publishers, starting from position of strength, driven by physical retails, have failed to create any real platform effect for themselves. They have effectively continued to build their scale through aggregated per game PLs, hoping maximize each new release for their existing IP. In the new world, every AAA publisher doesn't have real distribution leverage with consumers. They don't have production efficiencies. The new IP hit rate and is also higher than the industry's average. We see that the top franchises today were mostly not created by AAA game publishers. Games like Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, Candy Crush, Clash Royale, Dota 2. These were all created by independent studios with full access to distribution overall, and in my opinion, is a good thing for industry, but does put AAA publishers in precarious spot moving forward. AAA publishers are milking the top franchises, but struggling to refill the portfolio with a hit franchise. Most AAA publishers are riding the success of franchises created 10 plus years ago. So as you can see, well, you guys can't see anything. You guys are just seeing this. That's fantastic. Love it. Love it. There you go. It's all right. Sorry about that. All right. You're just seeing an article and I'm reading it to you anyway. So as you can see, Phil Spencer, he's not the first person to say this, right? We talked about the other AAA publishers talking about how AAA gaming is hitting a wall because the graphics are getting too high, the productions are getting way too expensive, and they're not going to be able to pay their monies back, just like the movie industry right now. Captain Marvel, the sequel, whatever the Marvels is called, $375 million budget, okay? Never going to make its money back. The last James Bond film had to make $900 million just to break even. Not going to make its money back. Some of these movies and now video games are getting so high end, okay, are getting so high profile. Now, obviously, Grand Theft Auto is coming out, and it's rumored that it's like $2 billion. That will make its money back. But there's also 15 years of games that they've put out beforehand that have been so popular. It's the biggest piece of entertainment, Grand Theft Auto 5. So Grand Theft Auto 6 probably will make its money back. No big deal. But most other companies, if you look at a game like Immortals of Aveum, which is the first AAA game IP coming from EA, it bombed. It's done. Okay? And there's other games that come out that are AAA games, and they have to learn how to adapt by either being free to play or like a Fortnite and whatnot, and then change. Look how much money Epic put into Fortnite. They put 8 years in development to Fortnite. It came out 3 months, and it literally bombed, and they had to switch and swap over to Battle Royale, and then that became $1 trillion business for them. So a lot of these companies are literally struggling to try to make it, and this is where Microsoft comes in and is like, hey, we'll pay you to put it on our platform onto Game Pass. Okay. He says the brutal assessment, but fair one. Sequels, remakes, spin-offs dominate the big publishers. Companies from Sony and Ubisoft flashing more offbeat projects and development teams to focus almost exclusively on games that have a chance of selling over 10 million copies. Meanwhile, the development schedules are getting longer. The budgets are ballooning, making it increasingly harder for even the biggest publishers to absorb even disappointing releases, and let alone disastrous ones. If none of this sounds sustainable, it's because it's not. Microsoft answered this to the Game Pass, not out of the goodness of its heart, but because it sees a new platform it can scale to feed the financial growth, demand, and investors. Our goal is to find a way to both grow our subscription, which is our new platform, and help AAA publishers build towards a successful future, Spencer writes. For publishers with 2 or 3 scale franchises that are difficult to transition, again, taking a clue from Hollywood, it's not clear how standalone subscale media publishers grows is this world without adapting to new paradigms. okay, or getting consolidated, but believe we can help a Take-Two by increasing monetizability. I'm terrible today. Total addressable market across more endpoints inside a global platform like Xbox Game Pass exclusive of the xCloud. Now, this suggestion here is the type of game that thrives on subscription service, either a small one that benefits from better curated and visibility, or live service, one that makes up revenue on the back end by charging all the new players microtransaction. The new store shelves are inside the games themselves, and that also a pretty grim assessment. And probably part of the reason Sony has repeatedly said that bringing its first-party exclusive games like Spider-Man 2 and Last of Us, the competing PlayStation Plus service day and date, would cripple the economy of blockbuster productions. Now, Spencer's email was written over 3 years ago at this point and is aimed largely at trying to summarize the current state of the industry for bosses. Now, we can see how things have played out since then. Take-Two, Ubisoft, and Electronic Arts have decided to collaborate with Game Pass, and EA Play is now part of the service. Microsoft, meanwhile, gobbled up ZeniMax, including Bethesda Game Studios, and now the cusp of doing the same thing with subscription holds out Activision Blizzard, while small competitors like Embracer go into tailspin. It's not clear who the big publisher model was serving after physical games died outside of the richy competitive CEOs and occasionally shareholders' buybacks, but it's also not yet clear whatever it replaces them and it serves anyone, developers, players, fans, and any better. So I've said this, right? I talked about this. Why is it so... I talked about this, right? I talked about this on our podcast, Generation X Gaming. I've talked about this on this Read the News. I've talked about it on other people's podcast. What Microsoft is doing, and this is me, if people think I'm being a fanboy of Microsoft, I'm not. I'm just telling you what they're doing, and people take that as I'm being a fanboy towards Microsoft, right? They're literally being a pioneer. Now, people might look at that word pioneer and be like, Phil Spencer, a pioneer, Microsoft being a pioneer. What they're doing is something different than everybody else in the industry right now. They're trying to see what the future is. They're taking a huge risk, and they can because they're a $1 trillion company, okay? Everyone thinks that Microsoft is making shit games and they're not competing with PlayStation, and they're not. They've said this now for 3 years. I've said this for 3 years. It's now known for a couple of months now that Phil Spencer said we're not competing with PlayStation. We're not competing with Nintendo. They could be dead last. That's fine. But they're taking a risk to try to do something that's not been done before in the video game space. Now, with AAA games rising in cost and ballooning, right, and they're having more problems, look, since the email, even though the article says since this email has been out, it's been 3 years. Since then, EA Play has become a thing. Okay, Ubisoft Plus has become a thing, right? All these AAA companies that are trying to make extra money, okay, and they're all teaming up with Microsoft, okay? Since then, Activision now is going to be bought and be a part of Microsoft. ZeniMax has been bought by Microsoft. All of these companies, they can't float the bill. They're having problems. Look at Bungie, okay? I've said for years and years and years, Bungie does not know how to manage their money, and yet every time they go back to another big guy with bigger pockets, and they've done it again. Bungie got bought up by Sony. This is not a Sony like Sony's like, yeah, we'll take you, right? Because Bungie can't do what they want to do. Everyone wants to become their own publisher, but they don't have the income to do it. So they have to go to a bigger company. They're not going back to Microsoft. They were with Microsoft in the beginning. So they're like, yeah, we'll take it, even though Microsoft already offered them, okay? And they said, no, we won't want it because they wanted like $7.8 billion. And instead they went to go buy Bethesda for 7.2, and then Bungie got bought for 3.2, 3.6, whatever it was, from Sony. Right? So everyone thinks that Microsoft is ruining the video game industry, and I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to save, in a way, because these companies can't keep making AAA games the size they want. Now, we joke all the time that AAA games don't really come to Game Pass. They're more like bargain bin, dollar menu. This is what everyone says. Well, now you know why. Because most companies can't afford a AAA budget. So they have to go, all right, let's lower the budget, and then let's get our money back from it so we can make the next game. And hence why Microsoft comes swooping in and is like, how much do you want for your game? 50 mil, 100 mil, 200 mil, right? And they just pay them outright so they can get more people to come to the Xbox Game Pass for subscriptions, Okay. And then the company that doesn't know if they're going to make enough sales makes a huge chunk, if not all of it, back just going through Microsoft. And then they make extra money with PlayStation, with Switch, with Steam, and wherever else they're selling their game from. Let's see what you guys are saying. Sorry about that screen where you got to just look at my, who's watching and whatnot. Yeah, I don't look at chat right off the bat. I'm literally doing a show, and then when I'm done doing the story, then I read what you guys are saying. What is the word you're asking about? Yeah, don't worry about it. Disney's budgets are absurd. Look at the Haunted Mansion movie. It just came out. What a mistake spending that much money on a movie and the attraction at the park. Yeah, it's insane the amount of money they spend on some of these things, right? So we'll read Paul Tassi's article on top because he's got his opinion, right? And we're gonna read his article. I haven't read it yet, but he wrote an article based on this article, so that's why we read this one first. What heart? Microsoft doesn't even have one. Yeah, I mean, I know you're making the jokes, Travis, but no company, no corporate company that's worth billions or trillions of dollars has a heart. So to say that Microsoft doesn't have a heart and like Sony's like writing you fucking birthday cards is just not a thing. Let's see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Reese says, "Good old Kotaku." It's not a shit article though, Reese. He's just responding to the actual, he's actually responding to what the email was. Everyone likes to shit on Microsoft for being in its last place and suggesting Game Pass is another bad idea from the loser. The reason Sony and Nintendo aren't competing with Game Pass is because they like the status quo. Right, Chris, and I feel like in a way, and this is not a dig on Nintendo or a dig on PlayStation, right? Again, I said the other day on Lono's podcast, right? Nintendo is like the elder in the room. You just respect Nintendo, right? And Nintendo knows what they're doing, and they're really good at what they're doing, but in the old era, okay? Now, they could move forward in the new era. They could make their games and put them on PC, and they could have their own, compete. But there's a cap, okay? The cap is what it is, okay? There's only like 350 million people that own consoles that combine between the Switch, right? And that's not even true because people that own a Switch also own a PlayStation. Those people also own an Xbox, okay? I'm one of those people, besides the PlayStation 5 this generation, all right? But I have a PlayStation 4, I have a Switch, I had an Xbox One, okay? So I had all three of their systems for that thing. So to say that I'm in the PlayStation, I'm in Nintendo, I'm in Xbox, so, and I'm in PC. So it's not really 350 million individuals because most people that own a Switch own either a PlayStation or an Xbox, or they own a PC. So it's all jumbled, but that's a saturation point. Okay, through all the companies, there's a saturation of like 275 to 300 million people that are buying the games. That's it. That's how it is, and it's getting less and less. So now you look. We had a conversation on Discord over the weekend. I was like, "How do you think Netflix got 280 million or 230? I think it's 230 million subscribers." Do you think it's because they had to sell you a box? No, you don't have to buy a box, right? You don't have to buy anything to watch Netflix. Netflix, all right? Netflix is Netflix. So you didn't have to buy a box for Netflix. That's what Xbox is trying to do. You don't have to buy a box. You can play games on the cloud. You can play games on your PC. You can play games on your Xbox. You can play games wherever, your mobile phone. That's what they're trying to do, right? Helps the developers because now the developers, when they make a game, it just runs on those devices. They don't have to make a particular one for this or for that. What's going on, Vincent? Netflix became big because of one reason: convenience. So wouldn't Xbox be convenience? Wouldn't it be convenience if you could just download a game or play a game on your television set? Right? It's the exact same thing. All right, so let's go over to Xbox, the article from Paul Tassi, right? He says, in Spencer's talks about ever-increasing risks of publishers sinking hundreds of millions of dollars into AAA games where they become make or break without any other real distribution channels bringing in the revenue, the digital era as such, they rely on decades of old IPs rather than taking risk and new IPs instead of making upstart companies have found success with, right? So he says, so what is he saying here? He's referring to a lot of big independent publishers that are trending on dangerous grounds. He's right. When some of the biggest games in the world arrive with slower burns and relatively small studios, but I think he can pinpoint some of the games examples he's coming up with, which is may inform if the companies feel so willing to sell megacorps like Microsoft. Okay, Rockstar and Activision are examples of cities, cities about studios who can spend 200 or 300 million automatically produce a hit and more cover that. But even Activision seems has exclusive who also would rather take $69 billion, okay, and rely on Call of Duty continuing to print money every single year without fail, and Microsoft seems like the right partner for also everyone else getting what they want. It says, however, we can also see examples of companies that feel like that Phil is talking about here. I'm getting a lot of Ubisoft vibes or franchises like Assassin's Creed or Far Cry. This seems like they will go further as Ubisoft refuses to shelve them. This could also encompass Square Enix doing Final Fantasy, which sounds like it also should be a sure thing, but Final Fantasy 16 this year may not have been quite a blowout hit as everyone was hoping for. And even the franchises stories that can also lose some sales, Steam and time, EA is internal sports games and desperately holding on to its own refusing innovating BioWare is heading back to Mass Effect rather than a spectacular failure with Anthem. Gearbox is just doing infinite amounts of Borderlands-related projects such as Battleborn failed. Okay, these are all good examples that Paul Tassi is bringing up. There's another angle here. Okay, here if the old IPs don't work, now let's see loads of brand IPs. Half large independent studios seem to have Star Wars games or two in the works right now. Ubisoft has Star Wars, Avatar. Square Enix tried twice with Marvel between Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy before they sold off two studios that both games underperformed. I think Phil is being insightful here. And while in theory it seems like being independent is good and selling out to join up with Microsoft or Sony or whoever is bad, the risk attached to projects from those mid-size or bigger studios may be too much to bear things and don't change. Some survive, some thrive, but it's also getting harder and harder to sustain the current state of the market. Not that Microsoft is buying everyone and all the games ahead of Game Pass is the answer, but Spencer is right about one major problem. So, again, right, you see that, and Sarge brings this up on GXG all the time. He says, well, it's the remakes, right? They take the IPs that they already have, and they're like, well, that made money. That made money. So let's do it again. Paul Tassi brings up BioWare. BioWare tried Anthem, brand new IP. Bombed. Okay, what are they going back to? They're bringing you Dragon's Age, right? They're bringing you a fourth Dragon Age, right? And they're bringing you another Mass Effect. Because even Mass Effect Andromeda, even though it sold less, it still was successful for them. Water says, do you think you'll be more and more incomplete games now because the shift to streaming is always connected games? I think it will become norm and more technology advances. Well, we're getting that now, Water. I mean, look at people praising, right? Destiny was bad when it came out. It became better over time, and then now it's in Destiny 1 I'm talking about, right? Look at Warframe. Warframe came out. It was good, but now it's much better. No Man's Sky came out. Now it's much better. Fallout 76 came out, but now it's much better. Battlefield 2042 came out, and now it's much better, right? So look at Diablo over the years. All of these games have come out, and because of live service, online, incomplete when they came out, they're all better games for it now. Cyberpunk 2077, okay? That comes out with the expansion pack, and the 2.0 DLC or the 2.0 update is free. It makes the game what it was supposed to be when it was supposed to come out. Okay? This is why games like Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man, God of War, etc. have seen anomalies of the gaming industry due to them being complete games at launch. Well, you're bringing examples up. Besides Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man is a one console game. God of War is a one console game, meaning those studios are only working on that game for that specific console, so they can put more time into that game and make sure it works for that one. They're not separated or trying to make it work for Xbox and trying to make it work for PC and trying to make it work. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 was in early access for 2 years before it came out to success. And even then, they still have problems with the game. It's not a perfect game. Okay. They're still making fixes, right? But they're, you know what I'm saying? So that's because they're making that game over multiple platforms. You should not be worried, Travis, as seen in recent years, live service games come out broken and buggy and usually incomplete. Sony wants Bungie to work on 10 plus live service games. That's a whole nother conversation. That there was another story, Embu, that I wanted to bring up today, but I was like, maybe I'll do it after the 3 that we're talking about, right? But if I was a Sony owner right now, I mean, I'm happy with the single player games, but that's why you like PlayStation, right? You like PlayStation because of the Horizon and God of War and Last of Us and Spider-Man, you know what I mean? And Ratchet and Clank. These single player games are really good. Now all of a sudden, the system that you bought for high-end first-party titles, they're taking 60% of their budget and what was it? Is it 60% of their budget or 40% of their budget and 60% of the studios and making all live service games? And I'm like, oh boy. I'm not saying it's like terrible, but it's just like, why are you doing that? Maybe they come out and it's just better for them, but that sounds bad. Starfield came out day 1. It will be good. It will. Down the road, we have an article. We're talking about Starfield, how it might have online stuff, right? Or live service stuff. Dave Rose says, morning, Dave. With the high budgets of these games, they're afraid to take the risk of new IPs, so they pump out remakes, remasters, because they know they sell. Well, brought up in the article though, Rose, Final Fantasy 16, they think that was going to be a success. It only sold 3.3 million. It's right now, it's not a success. So that's a known IP, and it didn't do very well. I'm not going to say it bombed in any way, shape, or form. It just didn't sell what they thought it was going to sell. It wouldn't surprise me if Sony has Bungie and microtransactions of Spider-Man 3 and God of War 3. I don't know if they'll do that, Enbu. I don't want to say it's out of the question. I don't think they will touch their first-party games as far as like God of War and Spider-Man, but I do believe they're 10, 12 games that they're working on. I mean, that's what they're doing. That's what they're going to do. Don't lie, Baldur's Gate 3 is perfect. Now, excuse me, I'll get back to the character twisting around. Bungie has nothing to do either nor will it. Bungie has nothing to do with either nor will it. What do you mean, Travis? Bungie has 100% to do. They're literally throwing everything to Bungie to help them with their live service games. So much so that they literally delayed a game because they wanted Bungie to take a look at it. Come on, Mo. Single player third person action adventure games do very well. Yeah, I wondered, Water. I wonder. Okay, I'll say this out. Okay, I'll say it's out of the question. What's out of the question, though, Travis? What's out of the question? Embu says, oh, you don't know, Travis. Bungie has nothing with them. Search Bungie and Last of Us in the same sentence. Yeah, they stopped Last of Us multiplayer coming out because of Bungie. I mean, Bungie won't touch Spider-Man or God of War. Oh, no. Not trash of us. Oh, no. Yeah, but see, Travis, you're saying a statement, and all Enbu is saying is that they might have their hands in other things. I'm saying I don't think they will touch the first-party titles as far as the single-player aspect goes. But as far as the online version, they want Bungie to look at it and go, all right, well, you guys are really good at what you do, right? You guys had a game for 9 years now, almost 10, and you know how to monetize it. So let us know what you're doing. Dave Rose says, I'll say it's out of the question. They won't do that of the first-party titles, but this is why they got Bungie, so they can implement that the live service games they're going to come in. Yeah, but what about to Enbu's point, right? Like The Last of Us has an online, right? They have a multiplayer thing that they're trying to do, right? What about if Horizon, right? They want to make an MMO, right? Now that's going to have microtransactions, right? So that's a first-party title. Yeah, it's not that first-party game, so it's not Horizon 3, but it's Horizon, and they're making another game, and now they're going to try to monetize it. So let's say they make a God of War, and the next God of War comes out, and it's a single-player aspect, but then they have a multiplayer aspect, and then there's cosmetics, server, battle pass, or whatever on there. So now you're like gods fighting against each other, right? I'm not saying it's out of the question completely, but what I'm saying is that they 100% could shift it in that direction. Not saying that God of War 3 is going to have microtransactions, but God of War online version, right? They're looking to get, and that's successful. God of War is successful. Horizon's successful. Last of Us is successful. Spider-Man is successful. I mean, I hate that. I love Bungie that they also Destiny for damn near a decade online, so they know live service gaming. Right. I'm not saying they will. I'm not ruling it out either, especially that Jim Ryan is expecting Bungie to produce them the same value. Yeah, I saw that article. We probably will talk about that tomorrow. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow, and Boo, sorry. Travis says, could easily done it with Tomb Raider or Uncharted, but no, it's about the human factions. That should be a little... Now, I don't want to say to Sony fans. I think that just gamers in general, I think that's a little alarming that Sony is pushing. We said this a couple months ago when they announced it. But, like, for Sony to all of a sudden just shift and put 60% of their assets and stuff into live service games, I mean, it's going to be great to have Spider-Man come out, or let's say God of War 3 or Horizon, whatever 3. But then you have like these 10 to 12 out by 2026. They want that many live service games out. I think it was it 10 or 12 by 2026? And just thinking about when they made the announcement to when they want to come out, that means the game's only been working on for 2 to 3 years. Are those games going to come out complete? Or are they going to start throwing their hat in the ring too as incomplete games? I don't think God of War tries multiplayer again. They tried it once and it failed badly. But take the article, what they're saying, Rose, just from face value. Known IPs sell well, right, and bring in people. So it's better to take an IP that people already know and then make something that might bring other people in, then make a new IP and then try to sell that. You see what I'm saying? So again, I'm not saying that God of War 3 is going to be a multiplayer thing. I'm just saying maybe they add something to it. That's all I'm saying. Live service multiplayer is just a side content, plus isn't a whole game. That's where the big money is. Yeah. Sony's going to push... Travis says, Sony's going to be pushing because it's like a live service in the future. Anyone says otherwise, they're wrong. This is what's coming from a guy who isn't big on live service games. Water says, maybe they're going to make Transformers Reactivate exclusive to the PlayStation 30. Perhaps. I mean, that would be bad. I don't think a free-to-play game goes that route, but I could be wrong. What's up, Titan? Too early for this to judge. Sony hasn't even released their batch of live service games they announced. No, it doesn't matter what they announce. What I'm saying, Titan, is taking Sony and then all of a sudden shifting to live service games where they're known for their first party titles. Really, really good first party titles. And they take those IPs, they got to take away from something, right? It's just like a regular game. If they put PvP and PvE in the same game, they're splitting their development, right? Where if they just worked on just PvP or just PvE, then they can make a better game overall. Instead, they're always just kind of balancing in between, not putting that whole stuff in. What's going on, 11? Ambu says, it's alarming to me. If Sony pulls back on the quality of their games for sake untapped financial potential, I worry that the knock-on effect will be Microsoft not being driven as much either. I don't think it'll go... I got to look at it this way, Enbu, right? Where Phil Spencer's saying that the AAA games, they just can't put out that $200 million. So let's say AAA games come out, but they're not $200 million anymore. They're $100 million, right? They split in half. And then those games now come onto Game Pass, which is more manageable, because now if you have a $100 million budget for a game instead of $200 million, you're more likely to make your money back on $100 million than you are your $200 million, right? Obviously. Okay. If you have a $200 million budget, you got to sell double the amount of games. Where if you have a $100 million budget, now Microsoft pays that. So, not to say it brings down the quality of the game, right? Because obviously, the high-end games doesn't mean the top quality of games, right? You could pay anyone the top quality. You can still get a shitty job, okay? But as long as they start keeping games and they start lowering the cost so they can get out and put on a platform, I think Sony will do the exact same thing. If they can make a game of AAA quality at 200, but they can do it at 150 now, right? Or if Sony puts the live service games out there and let's say they work on a game, and I've said this in the past, it takes 3 to 5 years to make a good game. What about if they make a game that's 3 years and then they take the additional 2 years while it's already released, live service, to make it better? Okay. Look at the games right now. It's out there. Cyberpunk did it, right? Battlefield did it. Starfield will probably do it, right? All of these games that are big AAA games come out and they're not ready, but they come out and then they fix it over time. Reeves says it's kind of lines up with Jaffe's video about Spider-Man 2. I didn't see his video. Why are you hoping let's make a free-to-play so only one console can play it? Yeah, that's not smart. Yeah, I don't think making a free-to-play game would be good on one console. You make it free-to-play to put it out as many places as possible. That way, it's not even behind a paywall where it's not paid for like $70 to buy it, and it's not paid for to be on a subscription service like Game Pass. Look at the first Descendant that come out. People are doing mixed reviews. They're saying it's kind of boring and whatnot. I'll tell you what, it was pretty addictive, and they did a pretty good job. Now, obviously, if that game comes out and it's in the exact same state it is right now, before they'll fix it over 6 months. They'll fix it over 9 months. They'll get to a point where people are like, oh, you know what? It's better now than it was before. Excuse me. Travis says Sony is still going to be quality into their live service. If Sony, the guys who never had a bad exclusive. I hate Last of Us, but that's me. But the problem, Travis, is that no one's arguing with you that Sony doesn't make good games. They make very good games. But when you start taking your focus off first-party title games to make for the next 3 years, to get 12 live service games out by 2026, something has to suffer. Is there a place for multiplayer games that aren't live service anymore? I guess Ark is considered live service, is it not, Jones? Like Ark is considered live service? Or is it live service, or is it just DLC, play it until the new DLC comes out? Or all the updates for like Conan and them, are they all free? Multiplayer, like you need to fill a lobby. No, I think all those games have some sort of live service, part of it now, right? Call of Duty, Fortnite, Apex, Rainbow, they all have like a live service element to them. Kyle says, I can see great IPs on PlayStation, God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, etc., having a live service game, and these devs never have made such a thing, and being like a Fallout 76 type launch. Absolutely, Kylo. And I think, obviously, in the moment, that could hurt Sony short term, right? And then they fix it over time, and it would be a success for them. I mean, they have to take the risk, but it's just weird that you're going so hard, so fast, with so many live service aspects of it. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Now, obviously, if Sony comes out and they have a completely separate entity where God of War, Santa Monica is still working at God of War and someone else is working on that, again, if there was a God of War multiplayer live service aspect of it, which is separate than God of War, then I think that's fine. As long as the ones that come out don't diminish the quality because of live service, right? No one wants to sacrifice this so this can become. Ambu says live service games were a great concept, but in practice we've seen it fail. Kyle Competition breeds innovation. When the lack of competition, we likely yield the opposite result. True. Come on, Dolphin. I bet Transformers will be a Switch also, like Fortnite. A ton of kids would play it. Well, if Transformers probably won't be on the Switch, but it'll probably be on maybe the new Switch 2. Right? It's running Unreal Engine 5. The rumors are true, Dolphin. Then people saw that the Matrix thing was running on the Switch at Gamescom, meaning the Switch, could potentially have it on there. Switch 2, whatever it is. Returnal Forspoken. Returnal was a successful game, but it wasn't a mass hit. But people love Returnal. Now, Forspoken didn't do very good, but people still liked it. But yeah, you're right. Those didn't sound very good compared to the bigger things, right? Basically, the vid was Spider-Man 2 will be the great, but how much longer will the formula hold up with innovation happening, with the formula getting old, and will they adapt? Okay. I think you always, but okay. Let me take what you just said there, Reese. The formula of Mario, the same. It's the same when we were children. It's the same now. Is Mario's formula old? Like, would God of War or Spider-Man, that third person, single player, third person perspective with quick time events telling a story, is that going to get old? I don't know. I don't think it will. Arc is paid. I think Conan is also paid. Paid as far as you have to buy the game, and then pay for DLCs, right? It's not a... Well, actually, it's on Game Pass, is it not? Is Arc on Game Pass? I think it is. Returnal did well. Forspoken got way too much hate. Anyone that did understand would have cringe dialogue. Was an idiot. Regardless if people didn't understand it, Travis, it didn't sell well. Multiplayer as in co-op, like It Takes Two. Well, that's not multiplayer. That's co-op. Returnal sold terribly. No live service. I put the few hours into Forspoken and didn't think it was bad. Yeah, but I'm not saying I didn't play it, but fundamentally, it wasn't popular in the major brand, right? It failed. Regardless if you liked it or not, it failed. Immortals of Avium failed. So much so that they lost half their staff. If you make a successful PvP, PvE game, you want to sell opera gun / vehicle skins because people will pay. Not having that option is literally throwing away money. Yeah, Returnal was phenomenal. But again, it didn't sell like hotcakes. It wasn't a big success. Success for them. But it's still a small crowd. That genre, that roguelike, is a small niche regardless. Didn't you say Transformers Reactivate was ready before Rise of the Beast? Turns out it wasn't ready. No, it is ready, Titan. It's not ready because of whatever reasons they have. They literally have a playable demo and everything. Who knows what changes they're making? And regardless, it's rumors, but like Certain Infinity had the game worked on it for 2 years before they dished it out to Splash Damage, right? So Digital Extreme and Certain Infinity were worked on the game for 2 years. When Splash Damage picked it up back in 2020, okay, they took it over. Then obviously the plague hit. So all games that were in production from 2020 either came out that were incomplete or they've now been delayed by 2 years, right? So there was rumors back when Transformers Reactivate was called, I think it was just called Transformers. I forget what the Transformers game was called before they changed it to Reactivate. I want to say it was Transformers. I think it was called Rise. I actually think that's what it was called, right? So it was Transformers, and then it got delayed. It was supposed to be out in 2022, right? And now if you looked at the leaks of Microsoft with the documents of all Bethesda stuff got delayed by 2 years. Everything shifted by 2 years. Most of the industry shifted by 2 years. So to say that Transformers Reactivate wasn't out because of Beast and it wasn't ready. I mean, it is ready. They're waiting for something, or they're doing something behind the scenes with it. Over the weekend, I know we pretty much checked out Transformers beta. Do you see yourself putting hundreds of hours? Oh, the First Ascent beta. Do you see yourself putting in hundreds of hours into that game launches? I don't know. I started this weekend. Last night I was playing, and I started getting into leveling up Bunny. Now I have a really cool build water with Bunny, where basically I run around because I got a reactor that goes with her ability, and then I have everything that's level like 35. I got my mods that are in there. I've leveled up my mods. So basically I run around. I don't even use my gun anymore with Bunny. I use my speed with my electric pulse that's happening, and I just run around and kill everything, right? And I was like, wow, this is pretty fucking cool. But to see like because the beta, I hit the wall, right? I hit the end of the beta, and I don't know where it goes after that. So I've seen enough to know what it's going to be, but they got to make a couple of changes to that game. But I enjoyed my time with it, and it did give me that Warframe vibe, and what I had to input and what I was getting back by putting, inputting and stuff. And I was grinding stuff, and I was getting drops, which was good. And then using that to make a character. I have like 6 or 7 characters unlocked in the First Ascendant. One of my favorite PlayStation 5 games, and it was sold well. I mean, it wasn't breaking records, but did well. Sure, Rose. No one's saying that Returnal sucked balls. I'm just saying it wasn't a big hit amongst a new IP. Let's see here. Why do people come into gaming channels and talk about Concussion Ball, aka No Gamer Cares? Buy games and DLC. They put some free maps. Let's see. Bound to happen. Ball. Okay. Random pony on YouTube thinks Jaffe doesn't know what he's talking about. The guy that created God of War. So I'm confused. So the guy who created God of War that people love, and now because he's talking about something they don't agree with, they're like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Interesting. Okay. It's ready though. Day. I'm sorry. Transformers Rise, and before that it was Transformers Impact. Thank you, Demir. Transformers ready, but not ready for release. I get you. And I mean, I don't know if that's being, like a smartass or something. I don't understand. Like, I don't have any insider information. Like, I wasn't talking to, right? We took all our information from people that leaked the game. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, they're gonna nerf it. I think I saw like 5 streamers doing that, just running around in circles. That's all I was doing. Once you get that mod to put on her, the reactor, it's like super broke. With other characters, I had 3 characters at level 40. The other Billies didn't feel well, but then again, I didn't really make a build for them to say if they were gonna make it like Bunny. Wait, Corey Bellow created God of War? No. Give me news. Extra. Look at all Jeffy's videos. Now he just posts hot takes and looks for clicks. Sure, but to just negate what he says, though, Rose. I mean, the man literally has been in the industry for years. I'm just a normal dude that's not been in the video game industry space. So if Jaffe says something, he's got experience in the business. He's talked to the people for major studios and other companies that have made massive hit games. If Transformers Reactivate isn't came out, it probably be next year sometime. Sure. And a lot of games get postponed or delayed. And again, it's not postponed or delayed because they never actually gave a release date. but they got to look at what the landscape is. Let's say Transformers was ready this year, and now it was coming out, let's say, in June. What other game came out in June? Oh, Diablo. Oh, let's release it the next couple months. Oh, what game came out? Oh, Starfield. Oh, what other game came out? Armor Core. Oh, what other game came out? Baldur's Gate 3. Oh, what other game came out? So you like look at it and go, well, should we release this now or should we release it later? Let's look at it's not like the people that have companies don't know what games are coming out. Do you think if Grand Theft Auto all of a sudden announces it's coming out, let's say May 2nd or whatever, I'm just picking a date, any game at that point's like, we got to move our date. We got to move our date. We're not going up against Grand Theft Auto 6. People don't like something he said, so they discredit his opinions. Yeah, I don't understand. Worked in the business for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. He says something like, I don't agree with him. He's full of shit. Okay. The only date given for the officially Transformers was the beta for 2023. When was the beta said it was supposed to be in 2023, though, Demir? Like, officially it said beta in 2023, or rumors that the beta was supposed to come out in 2023? Like, Splash Damage themselves said, or Bulkhead came out and said that the beta was coming out in 2023? I don't remember that. They said it on their official website. Let's see. Transformers Reactivate 1 to 4 player online action game developed by Splash Damage, coming up in PC console with closed beta planned for 2023. Closed beta planned for 2023. So 1, it's a closed beta, and 2, it's not the end of 2023. So we're okay still, right? We're okay still. I mean, they got until December 31st for the beta to come out in 2023. If it doesn't come out in 2023, then people can be like, oh, there's problems. They said they lied to us. They lied to us. I mean, technically right now, there could be closed betas right now that we don't know about. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Demir. Maybe the beta is going on right now, and there are people with integrity, and they sign NDAs, and they can't say anything. I don't know. It's crazy. I'm not saying you, Demir, in any way, shape, or form, but I like how people always like, they're like, wait, something wrong. Like the sky's falling. They're like, oh my God, it's not coming out. What's going to happen? This game's not coming out. Just say it. They said it was coming out. I said it was coming out in beta. I said 2023. September. People don't realize there's actual extra months. Alone in the Darkness, delayed until 2024. Yeah, no news doesn't automatically mean bad news. It just means no news. Right. There's no one leaking information. I have a problem that, I mean, obviously we're a news channel and we'll report the news, but a lot of the stuff that just leaks, that I'm okay with people doing leaks, right? But then what happens with people's leaks are that people start to fantasize about what things could be or what they said, and they misinterpret things. And then the internet gets a hold of it, and it just kind of like, falls down the hill. And then nobody knows what's real or fake anymore. Agreed, 11. It's like the internet is literally the worst game of telephone ever. Someone's like, game can come out in 2023 beta sometime in 2023. It's like January 2nd. They're like, where's this beta? Where's this beta? It's not out yet. They lied to us. They said 2023. It's like, calm down, bro. There's 365 days in the year. And even if you don't hear about the beta, doesn't mean the beta doesn't exist. All right. Let's go to the next story. If you guys liking the conversation and like the channel, make sure you hit that like button down below. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. Tassi Max says, if Transformers Reactivate were to come out this year, we've already seen the marketing for it and the alpha beta and then the closed beta and then the open beta. Right. It just says closed beta, right? So closed beta comes out sometime this year, and then the game will probably come out sometime next year. Robert Jones says, I feel like Forspoken did bad because it caught a negative hate wave of people just didn't buy it. I even said, Jones, when they first showed Forspoken, and then they showed that other game. What was that other game called? I honestly can't remember. It was the other desert-looking game. Travis was interested in it. I can't remember. It wasn't Immortals of Avium. What was that other game called? That I said, Atlas Fallen. There you go. Did that come out this year? Did Atlas Fallen come out this year? Atlas Forgotten. That's what it could be called. Did Atlas Fallen? I don't even know. Did it come out? Yeah, holy shit. Came out August 10th. It came and fell. Yeah. Atlas Fallen came out, was good, but made no ripples. Perfect example, right? So, could be a AAA game, and nobody batted an eye. Nobody batted an eye, right? They all look samey. Now, I had a video earlier this year talking about, on this channel, talking about I don't want everyone to, and now Unity screwed up big time, right? Unity screwed up big time, because I like Unity's game engine, right? I like that Unity makes so many games, and they look so different across the platform of whatever developer's making with Unity. And yet you look at Unreal, and Unreal looks the same, right? And a lot of games, and I know Forspoken didn't use Unreal. I know they didn't use it. They used a version, and then they switched it to something else. But to me, I was talking about how all these games use the same type of engine, and they all kind of get lost in the same thing, right? And a lot of these games, Forspoken, Atlas, not because they use the same engine. I'm just saying they all looked samey. They all look samey. It's all these like deserts, wide open worlds. They all have little powers. They're surfing on the sand. Let's see. Atlas Fallen. Let's see. Let's see. Did they talk about total sales? Falls short of expectations. This is of August 23rd. Deck 13 is selling below publisher Focus Entertainment. However, the new investor updated Focus Entertainment announced that the launch of Atlas Fallen is below initial forecast. But they don't tell you the actual forecast. Let's see. Ranging from 64% on PlayStation 5, 71% on PC. On Steam, 61%. Atlas Fallen also peaked at 2,679 concurrent players. Yeah, it doesn't say what they sold. We'll probably see later down the down the road. It's literally been like less than a month, or just over a month, just over a month. All right, let's go to story number 2. Another story by Paul Tassi. All the article links are down below. I'm going to start. I did it and then I forgot to do it. So all the links are down below. All the videos that we're going to watch, the news stories, they're all linked in the description down below. So Starfield may release more live content outside of its expansions. Okay. There's an interesting Japanese language interview with Xbox Phil Spencer going around. And one here, he asks all about the manner of topics, including Game Pass, Xbox's new relationship with Square Enix, and of course, Starfield and the biggest Xbox release of the year. When asked Starfield's plans for the future, Spencer said the following, quote, "We believe that it's essential to continue updating Starfield's content in order to maintain engagement with the game over the long term, encourage continued subscriptions. That's exactly what Todd Howard and his team are doing right now." Now, I'm going to hard pause there for a second. Now, I haven't read this yet. I'm reading this for the first time now. Okay. Now, I've said from the very beginning, since they first announced that Starfield's coming out into Game Pass and it was exclusive for Game Pass, and I said that there's got to be some sort of live service aspect to it or something. I said maybe they add multiplayer down the line. I've said maybe they put like a Fallout first type of thing inside the game later. But leading up to the launch of the original launch of November 11/11, I said that this game's on Game Pass. I was like, this game is going to have some sort of content to make you come back every couple of months or so to check it out, to see what it is. Hey, Starfield's been out for a while. What else do they add to it, right? So it's interesting to hear him say, to encourage continued subscriptions. That's exactly what Todd Howard and the team are working on now. Now, Paul says, I find this to be a somewhat interesting answer, and one that suggests that Starfield's future may include other elements than what's already been laid out. Obviously, Bethesda has already announced that Starfield will get an expansion, Shattered Space, and recurring estimates have out sometime in early 2024, like around 6 months or so after launch. Bethesda creator mod tools should also be out by then. He says, I do have to wonder, though, about the maintaining engagement with the Starfield looks like outside of whatever. However, obviously, a bigger concern about launching a game like Starfield on Game Pass is that players can subscribe for the game and then cancel it after a month or so, whenever they feel like, and when they're done playing. So Bethesda needs to give them a reason to continue playing. He says, I don't want to say that Starfield is going to turn into a dreaded live service offering, but I do have to wonder what the plan is here. If the expansion comes out in 6 months and there's plenty of time to lose Game Pass subs if people dip out once they feel they're putting enough time in the game. I find myself thinking about Fallout 76 here. Okay. Wait a second. No, not its 49 Metascore launch, but how it evolved over time and created a neat little community. Since its release in 2018, Fallout 76 has 16 different updates and a variety of sizes, some huge, some small, and they're still going on as the new Atlantic City update is coming out in December. He says, and of course, also No Man's Sky, the game Starfield is endlessly compared to for good reason. That game fixed itself with updates, and I can also even count at the point, again, all the massive expansions and updates, the various sizes with decently major additions. Okay, there's an update for just base building, for instance, or land vehicles, story quests, large quality of life overhauls, and system revamps. The point is, I think there's more options at play here than just being fixed patches, a few balance tweaks and DLCs in 6 months. I think Bethesda has learned a lot from Fallout 76 in terms of how to build a player base, and Starfield certainly has a better foundation than the game had at start. It's about time people catch up to me, right? It's about time. I literally said this a year ago about Starfield, and that they have to do something. Now, it's like I have a phone call with Phil Spencer like all the time, and he tells me all the stuff beforehand, right? And all I do is see the landscape of what's happening, see what they do in the past, read articles, read between the lines, read other stories, connect the 2 points, and I'm like that guy, with the red board behind him, and he's like I got the stuff, right? Right? It's amazing to me that everyone else is like, hey, you know what? I kind of see something happening here. Okay, I do not expect Starfield to get like multiplayer, but I do wonder if we could head towards a series of updates that at least somewhat similar to the ones I've listed. No, not full live service, not talking seasons or battle passes, but enough content to get people to return to understand more in coming between major expansions. I assume there will be more than one. You know what? I bet you they do something like this. Okay? I bet you they do something like this. I bet you they do some sort of events. You know that board that they give, the season pass type of stuff? Okay? I guarantee you they do something like this for Starfield down the road, where probably won't happen for a good 8, 10, maybe a year after the game comes out. Okay? But this time next year, maybe they add something to the thing where they're like, hey, go explore 10 planets. Go find this many things. Unlock this. Here's a free reward, right? So they'll have the mod store there, right? If you want to earn these things, play the game. Go out and do stuff, okay? Hey, go to Mars. Go find 10 of these things. Go find this. Go find the new base. Go kill this many people. They already have that in the game, but now they'll connect it to the actual, season pass, board game aspect of it. Potentially they can do stuff like this. Why not? Why not? Todd said years ago, they were upset because they couldn't charge people that were already playing Skyrim. Because Skyrim was they were just still playing Skyrim and they couldn't attach to them. So like, what do we do? Well, let's sell Skyrim again, and then let's put the mod store and stuff in there and get those people to come back. Okay. Paul continues and says, maybe we do get land vehicles everyone wants. More ships and base parts. I think this is one is a given. More weapons and armor. Planets that spring life and that haven't had before, thinking some sort of beast hunt event. There you go. See? Paul is exactly saying the same thing. At least some amount of new missions or surprises, events put into game that also get people logging in. Absolutely none of this has been talked about, so I clearly can't say if it's happening, but I also wonder if Starfield did not want to be given a live service stigma label at launch, and now it adds things for free until the expansion. That will be a nice bonus and mainly reasons to retain Game Pass subs. Without things like that, I'm not sure how you prevent a lot of people from canceling Game Pass before the expansions or even necessarily returning to the expansion when it does arrive. Well, I think he's missing a point. I think, how do you get people to stick on Game Pass? Oh, that's simple. They came in for Starfield, and then another game comes out, third-party game. Maybe it's an older game. Maybe it's an independent game later in the month. Or maybe it comes out next month, and then next month we have the Horizon Motorsports, okay? And then November, another game comes out. This is how it works. They don't have to keep you coming back for this game, but they have to keep you coming back for a game on Game Pass, right? 30 and said, good luck. 30 seconds, they'll catch you'll be a mile ahead. Good luck. 30 seconds, they'll catch up. You'll be a mile ahead. Oh, for my predictions and stuff? Waterbury says, every game is that if you think about it. I mean, Battle Pass, Fallout 76 style? Yeah, like the little board game they do. You know what I mean? Like, go do this, go turn this in. Like, it'd be so simple, right? So simple, Titan. All of a sudden, and you don't have to be a part of it, right? But if people start playing the game and all of a sudden Starfield says, hey, go make 250 aluminum parts, or go source iron. Maybe people haven't done any kind of outpost building, and now all of a sudden they're like, go build an outpost. Now you build an outpost, and then you go up that ranking, right? And then you get a free reward, right? Oh, you get a cool skin for your character, or for a gun, or for a ship, or you unlock different things, and then they have other things that you can buy, right? Like that to me, and I've said in the past, well over a year ago, I said Fallout 76 is one big test. It was a test for multiplayer. It was a test to see what people spend. It was a test to see how they could continue build the game as they go. And here you go, right? You go if you wanted access to the certain items. That's what he's saying. Right? I'm saying the reason I do stuff in games like Bethesda is to explore and enjoy my own, because the game tells me to. Right. No, it still would, Travis, and you could play the game exactly how you want. Like, I've been to like 60 planets, right? 70 planets. Not because they told me to go, because I'm playing the game. But now if there's a board game aspect of it, like Fallout 76, and they're saying visit 10 planets, you're going to take the time out of your day to go get 10 planets so you can go up this thing so you can get a free reward. That's how it works. Yeah, 100%, Titan. 100%. Maybe you do, Travis, but maybe you don't. It exists a X planet and then sends you there and then go to the checklist, not only to find yourself doing more because of Y event happening. Well, even if they do what about if they do the DLC, right? Imagine the DLC is new story content on a planet that you've already been to. Like you went there on Monday and the DLC comes out on Tuesday and you're like, oh, I gotta go back to the same planet that I just went to? That's so stupid. It's like, but now it's DLC and now they're letting you go back to the same planet. Like you went to that planet by yourself, but there's also people that have never been to that planet and they're like, oh, cool. I didn't know this was out here. Oh, the expansion's coming out. Like, do you understand the potential of Starfield? The potential of Starfield is literally endless. Endless. Because not only could they make a game where you might have visited all 1,000 planets, and then all of a sudden, but you didn't visit the entire planet, you went to that planet, but you went over here. And then all of a sudden, now there's another city that's built on the other side that you didn't know about. And now there's a story there. They're like, man, I found this other, for the DLC. Now there's that lore and story that's there. That all of a sudden they say, these people came from a different ship. Maybe there's aliens that they actually put in, like actual aliens, right? Maybe there's different people that come in that you didn't know about before, a different faction that's upcoming, upbringing or whatnot. There is literally infinity to do in this game. They can literally just keep expanding and growing the game over the years by adding DLC content, free content, by making you go back to the same places you've already been before, so you get free backpacks, more space, whatever. When you get the board game thing in 76, I should really go back at some point and only just finish the whole Saving the Bar quest. The board game thing's been out for like 2 years, I think. It's the season pass type of thing. I just don't like the feeling forced to do stuff, but take that feeling out of it. That's it. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Many times I found myself doing a bounty, and then going off to the beaten path because of the random occurrence. Right. Skyrim bugged the crap out of me with this constantly, hey, main story isn't done yet. Don't you want to do that crap? I mean, you're looking at the glass half empty. There's people, Travis, that look at that and go, I kind of don't like Skyrim because I didn't even do the main story. I forgot what I was doing. You got to remember, there's a lot of people that need their hand held during video games, right? They need their hand held. If they don't have their hand hold to go, hey, main story over here. They're like, oh, main story. Okay. Then there's the people like myself that just play the game and don't have any experience. Even with just the main quest, the possibilities of endless for DLC shit. Terramorph, side quests, given the great options. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This game is insane, the amount of stuff they can keep throwing into it. And why wouldn't they do that? It's on Game Pass, right? They got to keep people coming to Game Pass, keep coming back to Game Pass, keep coming back to Game Pass. And maybe someone doesn't like the game. They're like, I'll put it down. Maybe they wait 6 months down the road and they're like, you know what? I heard they had a lot of stuff, like a No Man's Sky. And then all of a sudden, you come back to play Starfield, and all of a sudden it's got a crap ton of content that you missed. I just refilled the glass. Now it's full. Kylo Green says the key to Skyrim is just don't fight the first dragon during the new playthrough. You'll never run into the dragon while doing the side quest. There you go. All right. The next thing we're talking about is Sea of Thieves. Okay. Sea of Thieves Season 10 is adding a single-player servers so you can sail stress-free. Now, if you guys are liking what we do here, we do have conversations, we read news stories, and we have conversation. You can bring up all these conversations in chat, and I'll bounce back and forth, okay? But if you like it, make sure you hit that like button down below. It helps us out. I know I'm preaching right here, but hit that like button. It helps us out. We're a very small channel. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right. So Sea of Thieves, I've been playing Sea of Thieves. I have like 47 or 48 days into the actual game when it launched in 2018. Before that, I was playing it for about 2 years off stream because I was part of the early adopters program. So I put about another, I would say about another 10 to 15 days. So I have about, I would say like 60 to 70 days inside Sea of Thieves. I absolutely love Sea of Thieves. At a point, I actually said Sea of Thieves is probably one of my favorite, like they just get gaming. Like it's just a fun pirate, like adventure. If you like Goonies, if you like just pirates, like just it's a fun sandbox to have, right? I didn't mind the PvP aspect of it. I thought it was really cool. It was balanced really well. And then they've made changes and they've changed a lot of things over the years. Now they're in season 10. Okay. And now they're adding, which I said since before season 1, I said they should put a PvE. And then everyone always has this debate that if they add PvE, it would ruin the game. Right. And the only people that say that are people that are PvP players, because they wouldn't have anyone to gank or fight, because the people they actually want to fight, they don't want that fight. They want someone they can clobber and move on with. Because one of my biggest pet peeves in Sea of Thieves in the very beginning was in the very early days of Sea of Thieves, when you died, you would appear right on the island right next to where you perished. Okay. And I said in my early videos, right, like back in 2018, I said, it would be really nice if when you die, like if I beat you or you beat me, you get kicked to a different server. That way you don't have this going back and forth. Because what would happen in Sea of Thieves is that I sink you, you come back, you sink me, I come back, I sink you, you come back, right? Back and forth, back and forth. There was all this stuff, and it was really dumb, okay? Since then, they've added PvP mode. They've taken the PvP mode out. They've added a thing where it's a PvP, and you have to flag up now if you're a PvP player and whatnot. So it makes it better. You could still attack non-PvP, but if you are a PvPer, you like it because you're like, oh, that person's flagging for PvP, so I can attack that person, and it'll be a fun fight because this person wants to fight, I want to fight. It should be a good battle. Instead of guy fishing, minding his own business, digging like one little chest up, it's wasted 2 hours of his time trying to find something, gets that chest, puts it on his boat, he's got like 5 things, he just wants to go back to turn him in, and then big old pirate ship comes along and just destroys him, wrecks him, not only once, but they shit on him twice or 3 times just because it's Sea of Thieves. Then you always have the people that say, well, it's called Sea of Thieves, not Sea of Friends. Well, now the people are getting really angry because now Rare just announced that they're doing a, Safer Seas. Okay? So, Safer Seas, okay? Sea of Thieves is now adding a new mode that's part of the 10th season that would make players who like to play by themselves quite happy. Like any online game, Sea of Thieves is no stranger to griefers in the game about being about pirates, so there are some that take the role a bit too seriously, making sailing around the Sea of Thieves not a completing enjoyable experience. In Season 10, it's kicking off in October, releases over multiple installments as detailed as a recent Xbox Wire blog post, and the new mode is being added in Safe Seas. Now, one of the reasons that Sea of Thieves is taking Season 10, and they're releasing it in October, November, December. Okay, they're adding certain parts in October, then they're adding a separate game mode in November, and then they're adding the Safer Seas in December. Why is this? Game Pass. Okay, that's why. So, quote, Safer Seas is intended to offer a gentler introduction to Sea of Thieves for new players, as well as providing a quieter map and existing players looking to pursue their own solo adventures, the blog post describes. If you're hoping to get some peaceful fishing done or complete a few tall tales without interference, Safer Seas is a perfect choice, all accessible combination, and can be progressed in the game mode. So there's a lot to be worked towards without needing to keep an eye on the horizon for enemy players. Now, notably, you can still form a crew with friends and take various adventures so it doesn't have to be a completely solitary experience. This mode is being introduced in December, and with the introduction comes to a new name and the classic way to play, High Seas. There are some caveats, though, to the game mode. Okay, so for one, rewards that get to be completely various tasks, meaning trading companies will give you less gold and reputation for any treasure that you hand over. Though seasonal renown is staying the same. There's also a rank cap of 40, meaning that you can't reach Pirate Legend status while playing a Safer Seas, and you can't take any voyagers on behalf of the Athena's Fortune Trading Company. And PvP elements like Reaper's Bones or Emissary system and the faction battle will also be unavailable. So when Season 10 does arrive in October, it'll also be kicking things off by adding shared progression with guilds, the multiple players that can also contribute in order to unlock certain rewards. And November will also see a arrival of competitive questing, in which all of these players on the same server will receive the same quest, and they essentially be a race as who completes it first. So that's just a quick glance over. We're going to watch a video. We're going to watch a video here talking about Sea of Thieves in just a second. So people are starting to freak out because they're like, oh, they're going to separate PvEers and PvPers, and this is going to wreck Sea of Thieves. And I don't look at it that way. I look at it this way, right? So you can never get Pirate Legend, right? You can never do certain things. So basically, it took them this long to basically take the original game, okay, with all this extra stuff that you can do now, and they're just taking that part of the game and then making it into PvEers. So I look at this as a good thing for like my son, right? He's a 9-year-old. I've told this story before. A couple years ago, he's been playing Sea of Thieves for about 3 years now, okay? And every time we get in, he loves it. Loves just driving the ship. But every time he drives the ship, okay, some guy is just sweaty and just not only comes onto the ship and sees that we have nothing, but then sinks us just because they want to sink us, right? And then my kid gets upset. And he's like, well, I don't want to play anymore. And I'm like, no, let's keep playing, right? So, because I'm on there and I'm usually there to defend off people because I'm a pretty good player. And I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. You know, and he's like, nah, I just haven't. He heard this and said, wait, and he downloaded it. I was like, it doesn't come out till December. He's like, oh, so he deleted it again. He's like, let me know when it's in the game and then we'll play. I said, okay. He's excited for this. And I think a lot of people are excited that they just want to, you worked all day. You just want to come on, right? And then you just want to fish or complete a little thing. Now, is it good that they lowered it's 30%, not 30% less, it's 30%. So right now you get 100% if you play the PvP on that server, but you get 30% of the gold. So if you turn in $100 worth of gold, you're only getting 30 gold. Okay? So here's the thing, though. Rare knows that this has been a massive request. They even say it's a massive request. And I think they know that if they make this 100% a thing, that their whole game turns into basically what Fallout 76 turned into. So Bethesda wanted Fallout 76 to have PvP, and it does, okay, where you can go on there and fight people and do all the stuff. But then what happened to the community was people just wanted to play PvE and then group up with people and then do events and do different things. And the community itself basically cleansed itself of PvP in that game. Not to say they got rid of it completely, because you can still do PvP in that game, okay? But then they also did Fallout First. You can have your own private servers. So if you're a person that didn't want to do that, you wanted to be in your own server, you invite your friends, and you just go on a party and whatnot. And here you are with Sea of Thieves, basically doing the exact same thing. Now, they call it a tutorial. It's to help people get the grasp of what Sea of Thieves is, and then they bring it in. If you want to become Pirate Legend, then you all of a sudden can go into the PvP realm and then get that last 10 or whatever it is now to get to Pirate Legend, right? I got Pirate Legend 3 months after. We put a lot of time into it. I absolutely love this game. I think this brings in a crap ton of people. I think more people will come in and play Sea of Thieves than ever before because they don't have to play PvP. Because again, in this game, people that want to play PvP, get this now, they put a PvP versus PvP in the actual world itself. So you could just go attack. So you get on your ship, you turn the compass or the hourglass over, and you opt in. You're like, all right, I want to fight somebody. And then other people are like, I'm going to go attack those people that opted in, and they can go attack those people. That's what they added last year, okay? Instead, those people don't want to fight other people that want to do PvP. They want to fight people that have no PvP active, and they just go up to someone and steal their shit, which is funny to me because they actually put in a thing that if people want to PvP, they can PvP, but they're like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to go up against someone that doesn't want to PvP. So now those people would rather take a 70% cut and just go to PvE just so they can play with their friends and not be bothered. And I think Rare knows this. This is why they said, well, we'll probably put it 50%. They're like, no, let's shoot it way down because this is going to be the more popular mode. 100%. The PvE will be the more popular mode for the majority of the population. then you're going to start seeing on the community forums, YouTube videos, and other things that Rare ruined the game. It's no longer PvP, even though there's PvP people that like to play PvP. But we'll see. We're gonna look at this video. Let me see what you guys are saying in chat. Oh, that's a good thing. You should keep them separate. I was always happy when they announced this. I was happy when they announced this. Sea of Thieves is best live service game Xbox has, and it will die on that hill. Oh, you'll die on that hill. I love the game. It is amazing, right? I didn't care. Like, if I'm not playing with my son, right, I don't mind going into the regular world of Sea of Thieves, right? I used to go on the test server with my son because people were so vicious on the regular game, and I didn't care they were vicious. I cared because I even talked to him. I'm a very vocal person. I'll be like, hey, I'm playing with my son. You know, can you guys just leave us alone? We're not doing anything. We're just, you know. And most people don't care. They just do it because they want to be an asshole. But now I don't have to go to the private server, the test server. I can go into the regular game and just play PvE. And he just wants to sail. Just to sail and do exploration stuff, right? And go against the NPCs. So doing the tall tales and stuff now is going to be a lot better because I'm not sidetracked by someone that has a hard-on to just keep sinking me for sinking reasons. You know what I mean? Let's see what you guys are saying. I think Travis, despite it being cooperation, is sometimes naive in how hinderous PvEP environments can be. This is a good thing for those who only want to do PvE. Oh, sure, for sure. He needs to get good. Right. Yeah, he just needs to get good. I, for one, hate PvP and prefer PvE, so if I played, it would make me give another shot. I love PvP, but I'm in needs of many outweighed and needs to be a few kind of guys. So it wouldn't give any pushback or changes in addition like this. Here's the thing. When it's crossplay, it was smart for them to put the crossplay where if you're on Xbox, you play with just Xbox. But if you got in a server with PC and you're on console, you have no shot. You see the guys jumping around doing all this stuff, and like you have no shot if you're playing on Xbox. Only the top tier people that can play, okay, can compete against them. They try to change a couple things, but because there's no progression, like a gun's a gun. There's no more powerful gun than somebody else. It's literally your skill versus other people's skill. So the more you play, the better you would become, right? And that's why I like Sea of Thieves. No question it brings people in. Hell, I'm not on my Xbox and I didn't like it. I would give it a shot. Well, you can play it on your PC. So no question it brings people in. I already got that. I'll play more because I can just focus on PvE instead of worrying about the salty idiots on the sea. Well, that was a thing that I used to hate. Like, you go to Tall Tales. I'm there to just do the story. I'm sailing to go do the story, and someone sinks me. So by the time I get sunk, by the time I get back on my ship, by the time I sail back out there, and no one bothers me again, it's like 40 minutes into the thing, and I'm like, all I wanted to do was the story. All I wanted to do was the story. So you're saying PvP assholes rather go after people who don't want PvP instead of people who actually want to PvP? Yeah, that's exactly what happens, Sarge. That's exactly what happens. Like, they try to do a balance. Look, here's what I love about Sea of Thieves. I love getting in a boat. I love knowing when you're on that boat and you look out over the sea, like when you're digging up, when you're playing by yourself, it's super hard. I used to play by myself all the time, okay? This is before the big ships came in or small ships came in. I would pilot a big ship by myself, okay? I would know where to hide behind the rocks, behind the islands, okay? And I would dig up the chests, and then I would hide them, right? I would hide them. And then I would leave them there. Look out clear, check out the things, look over in the horizon, don't see anybody, and then boom, 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 put all the stuff up there. Since then, they've made some massive changes, right? Now you can do harpoon and then harpoon all the stuff, right? It's so much easier to get stuff now. Now I love doing the forts. The forts are one of the best parts for me. Now, if I could do the forts with PvE with my son and not worrying about people behind me trying to kill me as the NPCs are trying to kill me. But let me tell you, there is nothing better in any game. I don't care what game it is. If you're playing in the normal servers in Sea of Thieves and you're going for a skull fort or you're going for the Spanish Inquisition forts or whatever, I forget what they're called, okay? And then there's other people coming and you're all going at it at the same time and doing all this stuff, man, it feels good. Sea of Thieves feels so good when you're doing ship battles and stuff. But the one thing I wish they would change, and they did it in the PvP, if I beat you in the PvP realm in that in arena type of thing, you leave. I win. I continue on. And that's what they should do, right? That's what they should have done years ago in the regular realm, where if I'm doing a fort and I sink your ship, you're dead. You should move to a different server. You don't come back to my server and then try to kill me over and over again, because then it holds this. And then what makes it, in the reality of what would make it realistic, is you kill me, I sink, now I go to a different server, now I start again. Instead, I come back, now I'm vindictive. I'm coming back to sink you because you sunk me, and then you sink me again. Now I'm really angry. I come back, I got you again. I never liked that about Sea of Thieves, but I love the fighting. I love the randomness that can happen in that game. Something in the horizon, you can just tell when you're playing this game. You're like, oh, that ship's coming towards me. All of a sudden, you see it in the horizon, and you're like, oh, we're fine. And then all of a sudden, you see their sails turn, and you're like, they're coming for us. And then you have to do something. That always in the back of your mind was really cool to me, and that's why I like Sea of Thieves, okay? But there are times that you're just like, dude, I just want to turn in a really cheap-looking chest. Like, I don't have an Athena's chest on me. I'm playing with a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, right? We're doing absolutely nothing. He's having a good time, and you're coming over here shitting on us because you want to have, you think that's fun. And I get it. But it pushes us, it pushes that type of player away. Now, EE is going to be, I'm telling you, people don't care that it's 30% less. People don't care that it's that you're doing all this stuff. They want to be left alone and play. I guarantee you, this is going to be the more popular of the things, because people don't really care about getting Pirate Legend. They don't. It's about the camaraderie. Can't even say the word today. My brain is messed up today. Right? It's about playing with your friends and just having a good old time, right? Like bullshitting. Like we were playing the other day of the First Descendant, right? 4 of us were playing. We were just shooting the shit, man. We were just shooting the shit, playing the game, right? I didn't have to worry about someone ganking me from behind or whatnot. We were just playing together and having a good time. That's what Sea of Thieves is, right? PvP players do the same thing. They just want to play the game, gank some people, and they want to have a good time, but it should be separated. You should have the choice if you want. And I kind of like the way they're doing. I know a lot of people don't like what they're doing, but I like what they're doing, because I disagree with the 70% less type of stuff. But I think they will add more over time. This is a testing ground, and this is why they're adding it in December, but we'll see what happens with it over the course. More often than not, PvP don't want to fight each other. They see a ship heading towards me, I set mine, in particular, all cannons loaded, point in that direction, and they'll turn around. Oh, for sure. For sure. What I would do, Mbu, I'm a really good, or at least I haven't played in a really long time, but I was a really good sailor, right? So I would have this big ship come towards me, and then I would just change directions on the smaller ship. I would go around, I would jet through stuff. I knew the map so well that I would go to the areas where it was shallow, okay, and just skim it, and then they would run up on shore. They would chase me for so long, and I would have nothing. I was getting enjoyment by them chasing me and thinking I had something, but I have nothing. So if they ever got on my boat, they would see I have nothing, but I wasted their time, and that is enjoyment for me. Multiple times, plus it's a better shot than most. By the time they tune, I probably had the masses off. If you're playing D2, you're always looking behind for the shitty netcode. What best defense to do in Sea of Thieves? If a boat's coming towards you, raise up your sails and just pivot, and just have your ship spin in the same direction they're going, and you just ba-ba. It's amazing. It's amazing. If you have a good crew, good stuff. You think Skull and Bones will have the same issue of the Sea of Thieves at launch? No, it's not even the same type of game. It's not even the same type of game. All right, so let's watch this. Let's watch this.
Season 10 preview. We're going to be hearing from the team here at Rare as they give us the lowdown on the headline features coming to Sea of Thieves as part of Season 10. With a whole new way to engage in social play to a competitive experience. within the shared world, and an exciting new feature that'll fundamentally change how you play the game. We're bringing an incredible amount of new features to Season 10. So to get things started, let's go over to Sea of Thieves Creative Director, Mike Chapman.
Hello everyone. Firstly, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for your patience and understanding regarding the delay to Season 10. We know that Season 9 has run exceptionally long. But what this means is that Season 10 will now very much be a super season. When Season 10 launches on October 19th, it will feature the experience originally planned for Season 10. But for November will include the experience we planned for Season 11. And for December, something a little bit different. A new way to play and enjoy Sea of Thieves, something we've been thinking about for a very long time. But for now, I'm going to hand over to Shelley and James, who will talk you through the first feature that will be launching with Season 10 on October 19th. Guilds.
I like guilds. You'll hear what they say, but this should have been in the game long ago. We asked about this before the game launched, right? People that were playtesting this game 2 years in advance, okay? I was like, they need to put some sort of guild program in this game before it launched, and they never did. And here we are. Since 2018, we waited for this, so I'm excited about this.
In Season 10, we're introducing guilds, which is a new way for players to form meaningful bonds beyond their immediate crew and builds on the uniquely engaging social gameplay of Sea of Thieves. We believe that being part of a crew...
I'm sorry, is that... Hold on a second. Is that
and playing together players to form meaningful bonds beyond their immediate crew and builds on the uniquely engaging social gameplay of Sea of Thieves.
I haven't played the game for so long. What the hell is this? Is that one of the islands? Oh, is that part of the story that got destroyed and they built it back up? That looks dope. I want to go back in the game just to check that out.
We believe that being part of a crew and playing together is one of the best ways to experience Sea of Thieves. We wanted to bring that experience to more players more regularly. Guilds bring players together under a shared name and identity with common goals, which really gives players that framework to experience the best of the shared social gameplay.
With guilds, you can have 24 of your friends, or enemies if you like to keep them close, in the guild with you at any one time. We kept it at 24 so the experience was an intimate affair, making sure that you knew everyone who was contributing to your success.
Any captain who has their own ship is able to create a new guild because
I like this.
You need that very first ship to be pledged into the guild. But beyond that, anybody can join the guild, whether they're a captain or not.
When you set up a guild, you get to choose a few unique properties on it. You get to give it a name.
Okay, you get a name. Guild members, guild ships. Oh, cool. So you get to put your ships in. You can put your ship in. So if I create the guild, called the Goonies, of course. Okay. And then you get to, if I'm not on, you can still use my ship, and then my ship gets emissary points, and so with everyone else's ship. So if you're not on, you can use someone else's. That's cool.
Something unique to speak to your guild members. You get to give it a motto to make sure that you're all striving for the same goal. And also you can choose the branding, the pictures, the iconography that really will show your guild off.
Once you join a guild, you can pledge any of your captainships into the guild, and you can also choose whether or not to share it with your guild mates. If you share it, they can take it out even when you're not online. All your cosmetics and your identity, all your trinkets and paintings, everything will be as you left it, and they can even progress the captaincy milestones on that ship while you're offline.
No matter whether you want to go and collect loot, whether you want to fight under the hourglass, any action you take in the Sea of Thieves will progress your milestones forward.
That's cool.
Even better, you can progress while you're offline.
What can I fish? You can fish on your own time, Dupless, in the PvE realm. Every time we play with Dupless over the years, Dupless, the ship is sinking, and we're like, Dupless, I was like, you gotta bail water. He's like, I'm fishing. I'm fishing. Every time, Dupless would always either be cooking fish or fishing.
Your friends can be sailing under your guild banner when you're away on holiday or asleep, so you'll come back refreshed and possibly with a shiny new hat.
As everyone in your guild contributes to earning that shared guild reputation together, you will unlock new and unique rewards for you and your guild. And you can even earn a distinction at every 100 levels of reputation, unlocking further rewards. Guilds brings players together like never before, and we're super excited to see the guilds you create when Season 10 launches on October 19th.
Oh, that's right, Mo, you played. Yeah, and Dupless was just fishing.
In November, as part of Season 10, we're launching a brand new voyage called the Skull of Siren Song. The Skull of Siren Song is our first competitive voyage, and it'll see players share the same treasure maps and compete and race to collect a single piece of treasure. Like other world events, the Skull of Siren Song will appear randomly throughout your session, and when it's active, you'll see this ghostly note appear pinned into the mast, and you can interact with that, opt your crew into the event, and take part.
When this voyage becomes active and you see that note on your mast, you know.
Big T, thank you very much for the 6-month support. I'll use my milestone to agree. Fishing in the video game is life.
That every other crew in the server is all.
Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that.
Also seeing that, and they become potential rivals as you all seek out the Skull of Siren Song. This sense of mystery around the other crews that may or may not be hunting down the same treasure as you provides real tension, especially to the start of these shared voyages. You'll spend much of your time scanning the horizon, searching for sails that could be approaching with the view of taking your hard-earned treasure.
So once you've accepted the voyage, the ghost of Captain Briggsy will appear on your ship and set you on the hunt for the Skull of Siren Song. So it's this high-intensity race.
There's no better game. There's no better game than sailing in this game. Sailing in this game feels so
Thanks for becoming
good.
a member.
The water feels absolutely amazing. Like just the whole experience, man. It's so good.
For all crews headed towards this one piece of treasure.
At the start of the voyage, every crew who opts in.
I love how the game doesn't hold your hand. Like, you have to find out where the treasure is. You learn the maps. You learn the different things. You learn how to navigate around the world.
Will receive 2 maps. One leads to a key, and the other to a chest.
Thanks for becoming
And
a
once
member.
players have dug up those 2 items, they have to combine them to open the chest and retrieve the Skull of Siren Song.
So in the early stages of the voyage, one crew might have the key, and another might.
Travis, thank you very much for the 7-month support. I guess my big question about any game, why don't they make dedicated PvP, PvE, separate servers at the start? Thank you very much for the membership. AC Black Flag is a better sailing. I disagree, boss. I played the crap out of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and what Sea of Thieves does, it's just so good, man. So good. The reason they don't do PvP and PvE, well, here's the thing, right? I look at games like this, like Destiny, right? Why do they have a PvP and PvE? Well, people just don't want to play PvP. This is why they put PvE. But they want people to play PvP, hence why they put certain guns to use in PvP. Same with Call of Duty and stuff like that. People buy the game for Call of Duty, play the single-player game, but then they go and play the multiplayer aspect of it because they want to go up against people that are PvP, right? With a game like this, I think they should do the same. I think there should be the story, which they're doing now. Okay, if you want to do the story, you can be left alone and just do the story. And then once you're done with the story and you've leveled up to a certain point, you can then join in on the PvP. And I think the way they're doing it is good. I think they could tweak it a little bit, but I don't think it's going to ruin the game in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, I think the game is going to actually thrive. They're going to bring in a lot more people. I would assume the reason they're doing this is because they've hit a plateau. They've hit a plateau of why the player base is kind of either sinking, no pun intended, all right, or it's just maintaining. And they're trying to bring it up because a lot of people's concerns is they want to just get on and play the game. And Sea of Thieves doesn't care if you're playing PvP or PvE. They just want you to play the game, right? So Microsoft was like, well, we got to make this game a little bit better to bring other people that don't want to play PvP. Exactly right.
Might have the chest,
and at any point these items could come together or change hands, or a new ship may arrive and take both of them. And this kind of unpredictability makes these stages really exciting, as no one's quite sure what's about to happen, and you have to react to all sorts of different circumstances.
So what I love about it is the quest isn't over till it's over. Someone might have the...
Yeah, but Travis, I'm okay people attacking us. What I don't like is that if I communicate, because in the game you can communicate with people, right? You can literally communicate with people, right? So if I'm like, hey guys, you know, how you doing? You try to talk to them, because there's a lot of times I get out of fights by just talking. Okay, it's almost like, you know, playing a role-playing game, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna roll and see if I can stop this fight from happening in Baldur's Gate 3, right? You don't have to fight in Baldur's Gate 3. You can roll the dice and see if you get them to not attack you, right? That's what I would do. I would like, hey, I'm playing with my son, blah, blah, blah. He's just a kid, you know, and they're like, they don't care. That's an asshole, right? But if you're a person that was coming to attack me and then you're like, oh, that's cool, I appreciate it, you know, here you go, no big deal.
Key, someone might have the chest, but you can see the beacons in the sky, you can track them on the world map table, and you can ultimately sail well, play well together as a crew, and intercept them and steal the treasure for yourself.
Once the chest has been opened, the Skull of Siren Song belongs to the crew who opened it, at least for now. This new item is a powerful weapon that can be used against other crews to defend your ship, but it also comes with its own set of challenges.
Yeah, but why do I'm going to rewind this for a second. I'm going to rewind this in a second. They don't care now. Before they wanted the PvP because it was the game. Well, Jones, what happened before was they had that separate PvP contest. I forget what the hell it was called. It was like 2017, 18, something like that, where people were, so there was PvP in the game, and then people were like, I just want to play solo. I just want to play, and they're like, you know what about if we make a PvP arena? Then they made the arena, and then all the PvP players went over there. And then Rare was like, wait a minute, there's nobody out in the regular world anymore because they're all going to go play that, right? They had this whole little outside community that were just playing PvP, right? But people still didn't want to play the PvE because they would still get attacked. And they're like, you know what? Let's get rid of the arena and then put them back in the game. And then a year later, or 2 years later, they took the arena and then they made it a different aspect of PvP in the game, right? So they've tried multiple times to try to fix or adjust the PvP in the game. I just take me with you 30. We'll adapt in aggressive negotiations. You know what? If you guys want to play, I'll play. I'll play one night. I would love. We used to play all the time. I used to love this game. There's no other game like a Sea of Thieves. Such a neat, good experience. Yeah, I agree, El. It's a phenomenal thing, and yeah, playing solo, it's brutal. And I'm glad they actually put this in. I don't think the person cares that it's 70% less gold. Yeah, but no one wants to straight up PvP. That's a different game, right? Now that I'm farming collections or something, they grab one, I'll kill them all. Oh, absolutely, boss. Absolutely. If you come over to me, right? Because what most people, most interactions, it only takes one bad interaction to people to go, I'm done. Most interactions in Sea of Thieves, and this is true, okay? Most interactions in Sea of Thieves are people come up, okay? They'll come up to you, and they'll speak to you. They'll use their intercom, friend or foe, right? They could double cross you at any moment, okay? You're like, oh, come on board, right? You're like, hey, I don't have anything. You can come on board or whatever. And some people come on and go, okay, cool. Or if you have something, they're like, look, give us your best stuff. We'll let you keep the shitty stuff, and then we'll go about our day. And you're like, all right, cool, right? Because if you're outnumbered, you're like, whatever, okay? Most times, people won't attack you. The community is actually really good. It's the content creators that are out there, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, that thrive this, I'm going to attack them and do stupid things type of stuff, right? Like, you sleep on their boat, and then you wreck them, and then it's like that clip type of thing. But for the most part, the community is not like that. The community in Sea of Thieves is very pretty much laid back as far as, like, Again, this is why I make comparisons to Fallout 76, right? Again, Bethesda wanted you to fight, and they're like, no, we don't want to fight, right? They will fight, but at the same time, they're pretty chill in the PvP aspect on Fallout 76. So the real title is a Sea of Extortion. It do a lot of cool things, and that's what I loved about this game.
So once you've got the
I'm gonna back up here for a second.
but you can see the beacons in the sky, you can track them on the world map table, and you can ultimately sail well, play well together as a crew, and intercept them and steal the treasure for yourself.
Once the chest has been opened, the Skull of Siren Song belongs to the crew who opened it, at least for now. This new item is a powerful weapon that can be used against other crews to defend your ship, but it also comes with its own set of challenges.
So once you've got the skull on board, you have to protect it with your crew. But that skull is cursed, and that's going to make your ship slow down, which means...
Yeah, I like the way they do stuff like this, right? So there's a chest and a key. Someone can get the chest before the key, and you need both of the things to get the chest open. You get the chest open, you have the skull. You have that skull, now you have a powerful weapon. Okay, but the disadvantage is you have a powerful weapon, but your ship is now slow, so everybody else can catch up to you.
Other crews will slowly start to catch you up. So whether you've got the skull on board or whether you're chasing after the skull, it's not over until it's over.
This slowing down of the lead ship makes for some really tense moments as you almost can't avoid combat. We think this voyage is really exciting because it's a more focused, competitive voyage that can take place as part of your normal Sea of Thieves sessions.
Right, and while you're doing this, all of a sudden a Kraken attacks you and all the ships get destroyed.
The unpredictable nature of when it's going to start and who else may be battling you for this treasure is an exciting moment to have, and crews will have to adapt and react to this if they want to be the ones to claim the skull for themselves.
We're really excited to see the Skull of Siren Song bring players together in this competitive voyage, and you'll be able to play it yourself in November.
What's cool about that is that this is like endgame stuff. This is for people that have all the gold. They don't really care about the stuff. It's about the how many can I grab, right? You see a lot of people that have played the game for so long. They have like thousands of treasures on there. It took them hours. It takes them hours to unload it and turn it in. Like literally hours to unload it and whatnot. And I think this is cool. Now, I wonder what the price of that skull is. Like once you have the chest and you have the key and you open it up, you get the skull, and then you turn it in. I wonder how much you get for that.
As you saw there, we've got some great new experiences coming to Season 10. Social play has always been at the heart of Sea of Thieves, and that's why we're so excited to...
Well, we actually, Akuda Papa, back in the day, we actually had like 12 people, the 16 people on the server. And we would have like 8 to 10 people on the big ship. And we would have people up on top on cannons, have people down below, and we would never sync. We were all working together, but we separated the crews because we could hit each other and kill each other. So the people that were in one group would be down below, and the people up on top would be the same crew. That way we wouldn't kill each other.
To bring player-created guilds to the game. And just that idea of racing to find the treasure against other pirate crews in the world is why we're so excited for the Skull of Siren Song. But as we look to December, we've got something a little bit different planned. As we look back on the journey we've been on creating Sea of Thieves, right from our original launch back in March 2018 to where we are today with the game and its community, one of the most passionate and resounding pieces of feedback from both existing fans, but also players intrigued by Sea of Thieves, is the desire to play outside of the shared world. The ability to experience pirate adventures in Sea of Thieves on your own or just with your chosen friends. This is something we've thought long and hard about. How do we provide...
Since the beginning, people wanted this.
Players with the ability to do that, while also safeguarding what's so unique and magical about the shared world of Sea of Thieves. After lots of consideration, we believe we...
I wonder if this is a test by Rare to go, hey, Fallout 76 did a paid server. I wonder if Xbox, Microsoft has talked to Rare and said, what about if we do the Fallout 76 model with Fallout first? What about if we let people pay for their own server so they can go up to Pirate Captain or whatnot? I wonder.
You've got the answer to that in Safer Seas. Safer Seas is a new way of playing and enjoying Sea of Thieves. It allows you to play alone or with up to 3 chosen friends in a private world in Sea of Thieves. What's really important to stress is that the game that Sea of Thieves represents today, all of that shared world magic of the game, that continues to be the primary way of playing the game. But the adventure mode in Sea of Thieves...
Okay. High seas. Set sail on adventure, Pirate's world, and also share the seas with other pirate crews. Become legend and live the pirate life. Safer seas. Sail upon the safer seas alone with your chosen crew with less experience and rewards available.
will now give you 2 distinct options. High seas, the game as it is today, but also safer seas and that new way to play and enjoy the game.
Yeah. It has all the AI enemies. You just don't have other people trying to come after you. Just the pirates. So if you wanted to focus on just getting the NPC ships, because there's a raid or whatever to kill all the ships, you could do that without worrying about other people attacking you.
Over the last 5 years of creating Sea of Thieves, the game has grown into this...
These are my favorite. These forts.
Huge experience with so many diverse aspects to it.
This game has changed completely over 5 years. There is so many more NPCs and things to do in this game than it was when it came out, right? I'm telling you, people are not going to care that they get level 40 and they can't become pirate captain. This is where people will play.
And the reality of that is we want to teach people how to play the game, but we also don't want to lose the joy of discovery. So the way we think about Safer Seas is as a great way to learn the essentials of Sea of Thieves, to be able to learn the flow.
And I understand that. I think the way they're selling it and saying that they want to teach people to play the game, I think this is a smart way to do it.
And the pace of the game before then moving on to high seas. And alongside allowing newer players to get to grips with the game, it also allows experience.
The bad part about this is you can't use the guild. There's no guild in the Safer Seas.
Players to truly immerse themselves in the world and take it at their own pace, experiment and see everything the world's got to offer on their own terms. So we see Safer Seas as very much a complementary way of enjoying Sea of Thieves, a new way to enjoy the game with your friends or to immerse yourself in the world. Safer Seas won't evolve separately with its own unique features. It just provides that new window into experiencing Sea of Thieves for the first time. So when we think about the specifics of what progression means in Safer Seas, as I mentioned earlier, we want this to be a way to learn about the game, learn about the systems and how to progress in the game. So players will earn progression in certain trading companies, but it will be at 30% of the value of what you'd earn.
That's a huge chunk though. 30%, not 30% off, 30%
in high seas. So both progression and gold will be earned, but at 30%.
They're trying to make the incentive. They're like, well, if we make it too good, no one's coming back to the PvP. No one's coming back to the high seas. So let's diminish it to almost nothing.
In terms of progression in trading companies, your progression will be limited to level 40. So the choice with that cap is very much deliberate. We want you to be able to experience all the multitude of unique voyages across those trading companies and experience what it feels like to move up through the promotions of each of those trading companies. But crucially, you won't be able to become a pirate legend in Safer Seas.
Yeah, Embu, right? Get the story done, get the farming done, do all the stuff that you don't have to worry about, and then you can go into the other world.
And in fact, the Athena's Fortune trading company that represents Pirate Legends, its voyages, its activities, commendations, rewards won't be available at all in Safer Seas. So alongside that, there's a whole host of experiences that we don't believe are right.
There's a lot of people freaking out, Water. They're freaking out.
For Safer Seas.
Okay, key features exclusive to high seas. Become Pirate Legend. Earn reputation and gold of Athena's Fortune and Reaper's Bones. Hourglass faction battles, which is that PvP section, right? All this stuff is like really big PvP type stuff, right? This is like end game. Athena's Fortune, Reaper's Bones, those are end game things, right? End game, high end players. Hourglass, same type of thing. Captain your own ship, that's kind of weird. So if I have a ship right now that I can't bring that ship over to Safer Seas, which is kind of weird. I don't get any credit to that. Sales as part of the guild. I think they're going to change the captain your own ship thing. I don't know why they got rid of this part. In my opinion, the captain your own ship should move over to the safer thing as well. Sale as part of the guild, that should move over as well. Sales of trading company emissary, that doesn't need to come over. And live events such as Gold and Glory, that doesn't really matter, I guess.
The PvP focus of the Reaper's Bones and the ability to play as the factions as part of that PvP gameplay, that won't be available in Safer Seas. The ability to purchase and captain your own ship, the ability to join one of these newly added player-created guilds, and the ability to play as a trading company emissary. These are features that will remain solely available on High Seas. So High Seas very much remains that primary and aspirational mode of play in Sea of Thieves. But Safer Seas provides you this alternative way to learn the basics, the rhythm and pace.
All right. So key features include in Safer Seas progress up to level 40 in all trading companies except Reaper's Bones and Athena's Fortune. Most of this stuff I've already done. So because I'm pirate captain, I'm pretty high up on a lot of the stuff. Athena's Fortune I don't care about. It was too sweaty and I played by myself. So earn seasonal renown at the same rate as High Seas. That's nice. Okay, play through all Tall Tales solo with your friends. That's nice. Work towards on all acceptable combinations and achievements. That's nice. Purchase cosmetics from Outpost and Seapost stores. Okay, and invite the Xbox friends into your session.
Of the game. There's a lot more to share, and we'll be sharing specifics about what's available in each mode as we get closer to our launch in December. We believe Safer Seas unlocks whole new Sea of Thieves experiences. That idea of going on a pirate adventure with your family, exploring the world at your own pace, the ability to immerse yourself in the storytelling.
They should 100% put the guild inside Safer Seas. Just put it for that 30%, right? You only get the 30% credit towards your earning stuff up for that. 100% they should put it in there.
Of the world, playing all of those tall tales, maybe going on a fishing trip with your friends, or capturing cool video content to share. Without the worry of scanning the horizon for other unknown players, we believe that Safer Seas will lend itself a completely unique feel.
That's the way it is. That's the way they have it right now.
This is very much your story in a private world, and we believe that complements the adventures that you can have on the High Seas. This is the right time to bring Safer Seas to the game. The game over the years has evolved to be so big and diverse with all of these wonderful experiences on offer. We want to provide an effective way for new players to come into the game and understand what makes it so special. And as we look to the future of the game, we're more excited than ever to make this the best pirate game possible. If you like pirates, there should be something in Sea of Thieves for you. That's why we're so excited for Safer Seas and the future ahead next year.
I think what they should have done, honestly, you know when you like in like an MMO, like New World, right? You're in the town, and when you leave the town, you have to opt in or opt out of PvP. You can't turn your flag on and off once you leave the town. Okay? I think they should have done the exact same thing. Even though they have the hourglass thing to go into, it's like matchmaking. If you're a PvP player and you want to find other PvP players, you can do that. I think if you are a person just in the same... I don't think they needed to make a separate mode. Okay? If you're on an island, an outpost, before you leave the outpost, you flag on or off. So if you flag on and you leave that port, that's what you do. Okay? And you can't get hit by other players. But if you flag off, right, then 100%, once you leave port, then you're fair game. I don't know why they couldn't do something like that in the game. Why they had to make a Safer Seas / PvP. Because I can understand if you can just flip it on and off and be like, oh, well, I'm in. Oh, I'm getting my ass kicked and I turn it off. No. I'm like, you know what? I'm going out in the real world, but you put your flag up, meaning you have a flag up, someone tries to attack you, they know they're not even going to waste their ammo on you because they're flagged for off, PvP off. Okay? They're afraid that people would be like, well, everyone would be off. But that's what the hourglass is for. If you want to find people to PvP, you can literally matchmake and pop up right next to them and start fighting them. How many concurrent players do they have? I'm not really too sure how many concurrent players they have. Look, they've done a really good job over the years, I think. Let's see. I don't know how accurate this is. We'll look. Players online right now are 252,982. I don't know. Steam charts right now. It's Steam. That's not the bigger platform. It's 66,000 all-time peak. 13,000 right now is 4 minutes ago. And then active IO. And again, I don't know how accurate these are. Last 30 days, average monthly players 3 million. August 5 million, 5.9 million. They're averaging, I mean, throughout the year, I would say 4.5, 5 mil. It's grown. Is it telling that they think you put 30 at any gaming company, it gets better? I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I have a choice of leaving the outpost and then saying, hey, I want a PvP now, what you could have done? I don't know why you have to put them in a different server. Oh yeah, Sea of Thieves is a very healthy game. It's a good game too. I was pissed at the company because when I was testing it for 2 years, behind the scenes, and we were playing, and they're like, "Yeah, we're launching it." And I was like, "Dude, there's nothing in the game. There was when it came out, there was nothing. There was three factions. That was it, and it was doing the exact same thing over and over and over, and it got really grindy, and it was bad." Then they did they did the updates like 3 months afterwards, and they went boom, 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 and started adding content. Not until about 18 months afterwards did Sea of Thieves like really like hit its mark, and they had enough content in there where I thought was pretty good. There's so much stuff to do now. There's so many NPCs and different story quests and different different factions and different things to do. There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff to do. Maybe when Black Flag comes out, I mean, Skull and Bones, they will run the real pirate game, Sea of Thieves. That game would have got destroyed. If Sea of Thieves and Black Flag, or I'm sorry, Skull and Bones came out, Sea of Thieves would have been the Overwatch, and Black Flag would have been Battleborn. Would have been done. Now, years later, Skull and Bones is going to be dead on arrival. So vastly superior, but overshadowed. I have to finish the stories. I don't even know what I have for Sea of Thieves. I don't even know what I have. Why doesn't Sea of Thieves have all the problems Bungie has with their servers? I mean, I would assume that because they have smaller servers, right? I think it's only, what, 8 ships, 6 ships? So technically you could have 6 ships at 4 people each, so you can have 24 people. Let's see. What are people saying in the comments section? See, this is weird. Like a comment like this. I would be interested if Safer Seas as a way of reliably holding ship combat with your friends on a server. But you can do that now. Like, you can snipe your way into a server with your friends, get a separate boat, and then you can fight each other. Let me bring up another video here. One of the big content creators for Sea of Thieves is Falcor, Captain Falcor. Been watching him.
So
for
safe
5
servers.
years. So let's hear. I gotta add him. I gotta add him to the. Hold on 1 second. I gotta add him because we're gonna watch his video. Seriously? Doesn't want to. Captain Falcor. I'm gonna add him to the list. He's in the description down below as well. Give it a like. Let's watch Captain Falcor, hear what he has to say about the.
Were just announced. Let's talk about that. Hey, you beautiful Buccaneers, Falcor here. So normally I would wait a
Captain Falcor makes really good content, by the way. If you're a Sea of Thieves person, you don't know about Captain Falcor.
few days after an update from the developers to digest things that was said and also work on the visuals for the video, but I feel like with such a hot topic within the community right now, it's important to throw you guys my views. So let's run some average B-roll and just talk about this. So for those of you who are unaware, Sea of Thieves just recently, today in fact, released their Season 10 preview. There is a lot to unpack about this update, and I'll talk on these subjects in another video very soon. But for now, I want to talk on the release of safe servers coming this December to Sea of Thieves. Now, first thing I want to bring up is, although I've been very much against PvE servers coming to Sea of Thieves, I have always stated that a safe space for newer players needs to exist, even more so now with how evolved the game has become. My story mode video is a great example of how I think a safe space should work. The safe servers that were announced will not be PvE servers. Let me just clarify that. They will be client-side servers with you and your crew, which means no other ships will be present.
Right, your ship's not even there. Like, your captain's ship is not there, so it's just a regular ship, right?
Apart from the NPC ships, of course. There will also be a reduction to gold and reputation earned, and a level cap at 40 to each faction, which means becoming Pirate Legend is impossible unless you join the High Seas with PvP activated. World events such as the Fort of the Damned and the Fort of Fortune will not be available. You cannot have an emissary flag or engage in any emissary ledgers. The newly advertised guilds will not be available on these servers. Reaper's Bones faction is not available, and obviously, you cannot engage in Hourglass battles. Now, this isn't exactly how I would have done safe servers. I would have dropped the factions to maybe level 20 and put in a hard gold cap of maybe 1 million gold. But the fact that this has been...
That's not a bad idea. I actually like that. I like his factions maybe lower, but I do like the cap of gold, right? So instead of earning 30%, you just regular price, but it hits max faster. So technically you would have to spend that gold to get the most gold, right?
Thought of in a way that encourages people to dive into what will now be called High Seas, whilst also giving newer players a safe space to learn the fundamental mechanics of the game, is going to be a great thing for the game's health and the retention of newer players coming to the game for the first time. I'm seeing a lot of negativity surrounding this new mode, and honestly, I hate to get on the pedestal here and say this, but you're wrong. No, it will not segregate the community. No, it will not make adventure mode full of toxic people.
Yeah, see, it's not going to do that. Exactly what he's saying.
No, it will not put the game into easy mode. Please stop being so dramatic. What this new mode will do is increase the play.
Yeah, because the people that are playing the PvE are not the people that do the PvP You see what I'm saying? The people that were on the PvP servers that were just going around doing the stuff, they're not attacking people anyway. So if those people leave the server to go do the whatever, they're not the ones instigating stuff. And then the people that are still on there, they think now that everyone that's left over is just going to be sweaty. And if that's the case, those people will get bored because they're like, we can't attack anymore. Because here's the beautiful part about PvP. PvP players don't like going up against good PvP players. They don't. Never do. Because if very few people, like a person like Boss, right? He wants that competition and wants to go up against someone that gives them that competition. Okay? But most of the time, the other people don't want to have that competition. They just want to shit on somebody. Okay? That's the difference. Hence why in other games like Fortnite and whatnot, in those type of areas, people just bail out, they die real fast, or they get put into rooms with NPCs so they feel better about themselves because they feel like they're going up against PvP and they win those engagements, but those are not actually real people. When you finally find someone that's really good at a game and you're good at a game, it feels good, right? It doesn't feel good when I can just come in the game and wipe someone completely clean because it kind of gets boring. It's like putting a cheat code in, right? Where you have unlimited money and you just feel like you just shit over everybody. That doesn't feel good. It feels good a little bit for those PvP players, but most people are looking for competition. You're not getting that on this game. Most people don't play this game for competition-wise. The people that are flagging in. They're doing the hourglass so they can get PvP.
Player base of Sea of Thieves to levels that we have never seen before. We're about to see Sea of Thieves reach an unprecedented player base cap that's going to hit the roof. Which for starters, being a content creator, is more than I could ever ask for. And yes, a lot of these newer players will be on safer servers, but not all of them. People do actually want to engage in the threat of high seas, you know. I've always been one of
Right. And the people that want to engage are still going to be on the damn thing.
them from day one. It's what actually enticed
But if they want to do something, they're like, you know what? Today I don't want to be sweaty. I'm going to go over here.
me to play the game, and other people like that will still exist. What's going to happen is people who wanted to play the game and learn the game, but were put off by the constant threat of other players ruining their essential self-made tutorial of how to play the game, are going to come back like a tsunami wave. It's very doubtful it's going to affect the main game mode in any degree, much like how when everybody said Arena would segregate the community, and much like how everyone said Hourglass will segregate the community. Guess what? It didn't. I mean, there may be a shift of power in the high seas, you might encounter more skilled players on your travels, but isn't that kind of the point why we play the vanilla mode? Who wants to sink someone doing tall tales anyway? But this is going
Well, Captain Falcor, I can tell you, there are people out there.
to serve as a massive stepping stone for the newer players wanting to dive into the game for the first time, and act as a buffer to potentially keep them playing for more than, let's say, 2 play sessions before they get sunk by someone like, well, me. This is honestly a great thing for the game, and people have to stop referring to it as PvE servers. It's not. If it was a case of the same game mode, but you cannot hurt anyone, and everybody can run around with emissary flags as Reaper level 5, maxing the game's content out in only 4 play sessions, then yes, that would be bad. But this is nothing like this, and it's going to do nothing but good things for the game's health. That's my views on it. Nice and simple. I would have done the safe servers a little differently. It's not perfect in my eyes, but it's still going to do great things for the game's retention. There, that's my bit. Disagree with it if you want, that's fine. That's why they're called opinions. Opinions are never correct. More videos
And this game looks gorgeous still.
coming out next week
Look at that water.
about what else is coming to Season 10. I'll address those soon. But for now, everyone needs to calm down and stop being a ninny.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be bad for the game. I think this is going to be good for the game. I think if anything, people will start, the people that want to invest will understand what the game is and go, you know what? I want a little bit more. Because there are times that you'll go up against the NPCs. It'll be hard in the beginning. Then as you get better, as you understand how to use the boat, as you understand how to get better with your weapons and the cannons and whatever else, you'll understand where things are, where forts are, where the barrels are. And then you'll want to progress towards going up against other people. I think it's good. I think it's good. Like he said, I think I would have changed where you don't get 30% discount or 30% progression. I think you would give 100% gold progression, but you have a cap of 1 million. right? That might have been better. Something along the lines of that. I'm excited. I'm really excited to play this, though, now with my son, right? I'm excited to play with my son with this game where we don't get ganked as we're just having a good old time, father and son, playing through the game, right? Just going through the story mode. He likes going on adventures and exploring and whatever and whatnot. And I can't wait. I'm sad it's December and not October, but it is what it is. That's what I think this mode is for people that want to play and learn the basics and get ready for PvP. Just as a player who only want to play PvE, they do exist. Believe it or not, yeah. Honestly, I think Rare's going to get a shock to their system, though. I think Rare's going to get a shock to their system on how many people will play PvE. No, Travis, I didn't know that. I was chilling, collecting shit for my quest 1 hour, maybe 2 ahead, back and turn and ambushed by a ship. Lost everything, turned it off, haven't been back. That's what happens. It just takes one bad experience, and this is the way it works, right, Mo? You're a brand new player. You get in the game. You're like, oh, this is fun. Oh, man, sailing the ship is really cool. You park your ship. You don't know anything better. You park your ship, right? You go on the island. And all of a sudden, a guy that's also brand new is like, "Oh, there's a ship there. I'm gonna take a shot at him and sink it and destroy all your stuff." And they're like, "Yeah, this is so awesome!" And you're like, "Dude, I'm out." You're like, "I just spent an hour and a half and it's gone, right? Gone." What they did in the game, though, everything you dig up, everything you put on your ship, everything that you do this, your season pass goes up. So if you lose the gold from the chest, you still get the gold they automatically put into your season pass. So if you unlock level 2, you get 2,000 gold. It goes directly into the thing. You don't lose it in game. So they did a good thing that way. But now you could do that in the game, right? So your season stuff is still going up while you're playing in the PvE stuff. So that's cool. Let me see something. Let me turn it on real fast. Oh, they have the Monkey Island thing. I haven't done that yet. Is that out already? Uh-oh. I think my computer is locking up again. Streamlabs, for some reason, I can't change. I'm not going to end the stream. I just won't be able to show you what I'm looking at. Unbelievable. What is happening here? All right. So we'll keep it like this. I won't be able to show you. Because for some reason it's not, and all of a sudden my streaming program, they did the last update. I don't know what it did, but it's completely screwed up now. I might have to reinstall it, take it off and reinstall. I was gonna look at the season stuff, but I can't change my screen now. So I guess we'll keep it there then. For to pass, I get 3. I swear, Baldur's Gate 3. Nice, sure. Well, at least you're having a good time with it. Oh, now my chat's not moving. Son of a. Hold on 1 second, chat. I can't see you. So they have Monkey Island and stuff in there now. I totally forgot about that. Travis says, crazy how all these years later, Mass Effect 2 is still up in the conversation for best game ever made. Yeah. Yeah. December gives me time to simple set up and also play with my son. Oh. Hold on. I'll look at this later. I can't look at it now, so. Stage scumming's fine. Stage scumming's fine, especially in a single player game. Like, who cares? Who cares? All right, on today's show, we talked about Phil Spencer email and talks about how he explains how the game publishers are eating themselves alive. We talked about Starfield from Forbes, talking about potentially having some live content on the way. We talked about Sea of Thieves, on how they're bringing the PvE aspect to the game to try to grow the player base and whatnot. We talked about these topics and many more. If you guys like what we do here, please make sure you hit that like button down below. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, hit the subscribe button. We do lots of different content. We do uploads, we do live streams, we do Let's Plays, we do podcasts. I'm a one-man show besides Generation X Gaming. Then Sarge joins me. So I appreciate it very much. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. That helps us out. So Sea of Thieves Friday night. We could do something like that. I don't know about this Friday. This Friday I can't do it because my wife's birthday is coming up and taking on our little vacay. So, but we could potentially do it in the future, Dolphin. If we have people, I know Dupless would join. If we have people to play and we have a full crew, 100% I'll do it. 100%. But if I log on and then nobody wants to play, then I don't want to do it. First Descendant, do you think you'll play it in February? I don't know. It all depends. If Transformers comes out, I'll say no. If Transformers comes out, I'll say no. And then when Star Wars Outlaws comes out, supposedly like March, April, May type sometime next year, I'll probably play that. Yeah, I don't know. I've enjoyed myself with First Descendant, but at the same time, I'm enjoying it now. I don't know if I'll enjoy it when it comes out. Like, it's rough, right? So I listened to Force Gaming, and he had some valid points about the game. Like, the world is empty, right? And I looked at it as a part of when I played Destiny, and I was just going around the chests. I would get on my what was the bike called? Not a speeder bike. That's Star Wars. What the hell is the I can't think of what the bike is called. This is how you know I'm completely over Destiny. I can't even think of the goddamn bike. Sparrow. Thank you, Dupless. For God's sakes. So I used to just run around on a Sparrow, especially on the moon, and I just run to place and pick up all the chests, right? And I used to be annoyed by the NPCs that would just shoot at you because I wouldn't engage with them. I would just run and get the resources and stuff, and I would run and get all the chests and stuff, right? So now let's fast forward to First Descendant. If I don't activate the quest, nobody is on the board, right? So I could just run around the board and collect all the resources, okay? So I was thinking to myself, like, he was saying that the game was completely empty and it was kind of boring. And I was like, well, I actually like it because of that exact reason, where I was playing Destiny and I would run around and I was like, I'm not even engaging with these guys. I just want to collect the resources. So I think they took that because they said they're fans of Destiny, and they were like, you know what? What's the point, right? They're like, what's the point of putting these guys on the board if no one's going to engage with them? If you want to engage with them, then you start the quest and you do the quest. So I kind of like it, but I understand where people are coming from. Like, what's the point? Like, it's an empty world. Now, I would like if they did some sort of events in the open space that maybe happen like a timer. Now, maybe they will, right? Maybe they will have like time events, like a boss comes down and you fight him in the regular world without going to, the actual Devourer void, where you're fighting the bosses. Maybe they will have world bosses come in. I mean, who knows? It's a beta right now, and I don't know when it comes out and where they can go with the game. But I actually like a lot of the stuff that's happening. I like that you can focus on what you want to go for. If you don't know how to get it, everything tells you. You click on it. It says, these are the items. You click on the item. The item tells you where to go. Gives you a brief description where to go. Then you go to the map, and you can run that over and over and over until you get what you want. Like, there's a lot of good things that they've taken from Destiny, Warframe, Anthem, Outriders, Borderlands. They've taken everything that they've had before in other games, and they've put them into this game. Now, I do think that this game will adjust its how fast you're leveling up. I do think they're going to adjust how much resources you get and how much time, because they want you to spend microtransactions, and that will be the downfall of this game, because if they keep them like Warframe, cheap, small little increments and stuff like that, I think they're fine. But if they put it super expensive and I'm paying $25 and whatnot, that's where the game's gonna fail, in my opinion. But it was so fast as Bunny a couple of times. I was like, where is he? Oh yeah, I was having a blast. I was having a blast with that character. I mean, it's just a beta. I said give it time. Yeah, but even if it comes out tomorrow, what would the excuse then be, Travis? Well, it just came out. It's only out in a month. It's only been out for 6 months, right? Like, you have to learn from the people that you did before it. So you can't say, well, it's a beta, it's going to completely change. No, it's pretty close to finished. It's a pretty close to finished aspect of what the game is. I think if they kept it the same as the beta, I think it will be a hit. I think they have to adjust a couple of things, Silent. I'm having a good time with it, but there are a couple of things that I was just kind of like, They have to adjust the difficulty level balancing between 1 player, 2 players, 3 players, 4 players. If they keep that the same, it's going to suck. They have to adjust that. I got like 6, 7 characters unlocked in the game. And then I leveled them up pretty fast. I have 3 40s. I have a 21, a 22, a 23. Not until I got the pieces that I wanted and upgraded some pieces of gear for Bunny, that really made it. I'm at the resources, premium resources gained from playing. Oh, yeah. If they keep it like that, if they keep how fast you can get the characters, because the real grind, a lot of people don't know this, the real grind is leveling up your characters in increments and how much it goes up in price to level up your each card or each gun or each thing, right? I mean, obviously, they're going to make money off the cosmetics and whatnot, but if I have to get 4 pieces, right, and each of the pieces that I make, let's say, takes 4 hours a piece, okay, that's 16 hours. And then once I have all 4 pieces, then it takes me 12 hours to make the character. Well, that's 28 hours, right? That's 28 hours of waiting for things to cook or bake or whatever you want to call it. And then you're like, well, or I can pay money, right? And that is where they're going to get you. Because people are like, I want to play this now. I did the same thing. Just because it's a beta, I was like, I don't want to wait 12 hours. The beta ends on the 26th. I want to try this character now. They also need to fix the lag, wave 12 or higher as well. Oh yeah, that was bad. Yeah, the desync, the hiccups and stuff. Oh, I know you can do research at once. That's if you have the materials. That's what I'm saying, Silent. Like if I get the materials, like I don't want to pay for anything, right? So I get the one piece, the coin or whatever it is, right? I grind the boss. It drops the coin. Now I make the coin and put it in. Right now it's going to cost me 4 hours to make that. I don't have the other pieces yet. So now I'm grinding for those pieces. Then I get the piece that I need. Now I make the piece. That's another 4 hours. Okay. Then I make the other piece, and that's another 4 hours. Yeah, sure. You can make them if you have all the resources. But if you don't have the resources and you get them at different times, it's 4, 8, 12, 16 hours plus the 12 for the character. So that's a lot of hours to wait for stuff. I still say they need to give me some extra premium since I won't get my Poison Girl carried over from the... Look, I had at one point I had 7 million gold. And then I had not the premium stuff, but the premium stuff I had like 4K, and then I had the other one I had like 3 mil or whatever it was, and I was literally just making everything. I was making everything, and then just fast, skipping the time. I was like, it's beta, I don't care. Yeah, Travis, never get a game just to tell me like you're a news reporter for me or anything. Like, get a game that you want to play and play it. Because I'll just get my I'll watch videos and stuff of it myself. It's more of a conversation thing. Like, let me know how it is, but don't buy a game to be like, oh, 30 wants to know and he's depending on me, because I'm not. I'm just putting that as clear. Don't ever get a game because you think I want to know. All right, it's 12:30. I can't change screens, so my stream's gonna just crash when we're done here. I appreciate it very much. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and if you'd like to go above and beyond that, hit that membership button. We're live Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. Tonight we're going back to Jack Burton, Captain's Log, Adventure of Jack Burton in Starfield. We'll continue that tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll continue that, I think, all week this week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, The Adventures of Jack is back. And then podcast Thursday night. Appreciate it very much. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.